Who else is turning this week besides Scott? I know y'all out there. Come on, jump in. We have Mark Sillay on tap for our demonstrator tonight. Mark will just do a box with a square box rest. That's what I see on tap for tonight. So that'd be a nice demo. I don't have the information in front of me, but one of our members this week sent me a whole box full of Freedom pens that he made, and we've transferred them over to Ronnie Bonnet. We'll hear from Ronnie in a little while. He's made a move to get them to the Marine Corps guys, and I had another box of pens come in from a. They didn't come in yet. They're coming in from a retired submariner. I said, "You a retired Navy?" He said, "No, sir. I'm a retired submariner." So I guess there's a whole lot of ego in that. Just like I'm not retired Air Force, I'm retired ammo. So we get a lot of feedback and input on Freedom pens. And we've seen a couple of entries into that 22 pen project that came to us a while back, and that it doesn't wrap up. The target was Memorial Day. Here's the deal, boys and girls. If you don't make it to Memorial Day, it's all right. We're okay with that. Just send in those pens when you can, how you can, and we'll help get it to veterans. Ronnie and I. Hey, hello. Somebody say, I got that turned off.
Randy Smith sent me some pens, and I passed them out yesterday at the Stark Memorial that they held at Mayport Naval Station.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
I sent a couple to the Paris ladies and to John Coons and to Doug Rowe. So.
Good turnout. Good response on this, folks. Ronnie had an experience this week, and I kind of became part of it. We contacted somebody about. Let me start over. A guy that's doing him in the area. They mentioned that he has a problem getting into the troops. So Ronnie contacted him and said, "Hey, if you got a problem with that, we have a solution for it." We get him, and he told the story about the Marine Corps guys that where his grandson graduated, and Paris Island, and the guy said, "Well, we don't give them to troops that have not served overseas." Ronnie questioned a little bit more, but then hung up on him and got out of the conversation. He called me about it, and I see Ronnie in a waiting room right now. And he called me about it. I just, I realize we don't have any rules. You put a uniform on to protect the freedom of our country. I'll gladly give you an ink pen. I'll gladly send you a treat or whatever, a thank you. If there was a way that I could call them every day and thank them for what they do, I'd be there. And that's what we're doing. The 22 pen thing is because 22 veterans take their lives every day. Boy, that's a terrible number to acknowledge. But Freedom Pens are to help them get through some rough times. I mean, for those of you who are veterans, you understand the loneliness of that job sometimes, or that mission. Not a job, it's a mission. You understand the loneliness, the separation, the emotional frustration that all is built into that service. What we do with Freedom Pens helps out a little bit. It's it brings home to them. It lets them know that the people they protect appreciate them. It makes them part of the real world. And if you think that's overselling it, no, it's not. I've been there. I've experienced it. I've had good friends experience it. It it kind of haunts you for a while if you feel like you're all up by yourself. And that's where these folks come back. They come back with problems, and we have a VA system that is supposed to help them. But PTSD is not an immediate onset. I can swear to it. And if we can help ease that curve for them, we've done our job. We really have. And as Americans or citizens, wherever you're from, because Donald's with us from Australia, and I see a couple of people in from Canada right now. So wherever you're from, you have people doing what our troops do in America. Thank them, appreciate them, do a little something special. So that's what's going to pay. I didn't do a gallery this week. I've had a little tumultuous the last 3 or 4 days. A little tumultuous. And I could not concentrate on it. I apologize. I will get it. I will get it up on the internet, and we'll show it next week if we get it put together. I have a lot of beautiful photographs that came in. If I can do any evening, we'll pop a few of them up. I'm afraid of doing that without showing everybody because I don't want to see them unfavorable to somebody. That's like a no but guarantee. Everybody's work is acknowledged here. We don't cull it out. I don't say, well, you're just a beginner. We really don't want to see that. Were you ever a beginner? Yeah. And that's where I'm going is we want to see what you turn, because whatever just a few minutes ago, we looked at Scott Hampton's way oversized bottle stopper. Well, it was only really about that big. But then he had a garden, I want to say it's a garden gnome. Okay, I don't do that, so please don't.
That would be accidental.
Pardon me?
Sorry, that was me. I was trying to let somebody in and I hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay. But Scott did a piece that's, I want to call it a garden gnome. It's an ornament. His is, he said, 40-something inches long, tall, made out of 4x4. Get that, Ronnie? That's a double 2x4 project, Ronnie. He gets twice as many points for that one.
It's like a totem pole.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Like a totem pole for little short people. I knew at one time Aramont had totem poles in the yard, and they collected turned art from clubs or groups that you could add to it, and you had the size of the penetration and such. It was right near the Chow Hall at Aramont, and a club I belonged to planned for years. I'm not kidding you, years, and just never got one done. But there was no theme. Whatever you wanted to make it, however shape you wanted to go. There were some restrictions on sizes, I believe, but it was a way to show off the work from your club. That's like AAW had that, or if they still have, that club event where if you have 6 more members involved in this, can be a collaborative piece for a challenge at the AAW symposium. I really thought that'd be fun. In fact, I went through the whole planning stage and wanted to do a roulette wheel with all the stuff and the car the chips and all that, and went on, and the board of directors for the club said we can't do that. That endorses gambling. I thought it'd be a really cute project. And you give a lot of people chance. If I had 20 of you turners in a room, and I said, okay, today everybody's got to turn me a poker chip, a coin poker chip, and it has to have ornamentation on it, and whatever you do, you put a number on yours. You value yours like a $1 piece, a $5 piece, a $10 piece, whatever it is, and decorate it any way you want. Do you know the kind of art we would get out of that? That would be so much fun. Really. It's like turning the key in a lawnmower, or a car. It's going to start. You don't realize 3,800 parts are going to start working at one time. And I like the idea of doing those types of challenges to where you can throw out some ranges or some controls and see what their mind comes back with. And if y'all been to SWAT, or of a guy named Larry Zara, Zarra, Zara. He's an engineer in the space program, I believe. No, in the off field. Okay. The club gave us a 1.5 by 1.5 by 6-inch long block of wood, and it wasn't quality wood; it's just wood. Which today everything's quality. And said make something out of it. And I made a pen case for a pen, and both of them were made out of that 1 6-inch block of wood. It's not an easy task. And I thought, man, this is really cool. Until Larry showed up, and he had 9 pieces of little bitty pieces, different shapes, bowl, urn, vase, all the way through, out of that 1 block of wood. Talk about set us back on our heels. And we said, how long you playing that? And Larry said, I forgot about it. I did this last night. So he teaches at SWAT occasionally. He's in Gulf Coast with Turners. Great guy, awesome with a skew, just awesome. Not as good as Cade, but awesome. So getting a lot of folks popping in tonight, and I see somebody else will work in the admin button for me. Thank you. Sometimes need a little help with that. Billy Burt, saw something you put up the other day. Nice project, man. That bowl. Billy, pop in, Billy.
Thank you, sir.
That was a beautiful piece of work.
Thank you. I got it sitting right here.
Oh, I want you to show it up in a little bit because
Okay.
It is nice. Was that something you salvaged, sort of, to do that?
Which one, the wormy hackberry or the river bowl?
Okay, now you get me. Wormy hackberry or riverboat. I want to say it was a wormy hackberry.
Yeah, I knew it was wormy going in, and I was hoping that it wouldn't be too terrible. I don't mind turning wormy stuff. I usually use a Dremel and take the worm dew out, and then I will I'll just leave it and then finish it, and because I like that natural look. I like to keep the wood if I can the way God gave it to me. So that's just my silliness. But sometimes if it's really, really bad, as was the case with this one, I was afraid there was so much stuff. There were so many wormholes in it that I was afraid it might not hold together. So I decided to use resin in it, and Oh my goodness! A month later, I finally finished it.
You see, but it kept me busy. Um, I like Wormywood, but I turned years ago. Somebody gave me a large burl off of a oh, can't think of the name of the tree, but it was really large burl, and I turned it, made a bowl out of it. My daughter was collecting things for her kids at school for an auction or whatever. Uh, I turned it. It looked good, slick, and everything else. I gave it to her, and a couple of days later, she said, "Dad, I like the bowl, but can you put a finish on it?" And she brought it back. The burl started moving, and it brained up on me. Um, Instead of having a slick surface, all those pieces I cut off were coming back out. I don't know. I didn't need dried or whatever, but they started coming out, and I thought, okay, I'll trim that. And she showed it to me, and I said, wait a minute, was it this bad? And she says, oh no, it's gotten worse since yesterday. I said, throw it in the auction. It went for the highest price of anything in the auction. It was like she was so proud. But the principal of the school bought it in the auction. But that burl kept moving. I love to do that. And I got a piece or two out in the yard that's been here for 10 years. It's not going to move, but I love the color and the texture, the change on it. I want to make a box or a jar. The other day, my wife was cleaning up in a stave segmented piece I did a couple of years ago, hit the floor. And it exploded, and I can save it. Rubber bands and super glue does wonders. Thinking about doing it for a trick and tip, a videotaping it so we can put it up. Because I don't want that to go away to tips and tricks. I'm not getting a lot of feedback from you folks. I need some feedback. I know we pop into them occasionally, but I need some feedback. But when that thing hit the floor, a little ring about an inch in diameter came out, and you used to buy them at Lee Valley, and it was a threaded ring, a double threaded ring, and you could make a jar or a box or whatever, and you put that little ring in, and and when you put it together, you have the mechanical fastening. The trick is to depress those rings and put them in where all you have is a crack, and they'll pick it up. You know how wood turners looking for a pop. Don't hand it to a wood turner without telling him it's got threads. They'll pop it apart. But it makes for a really nice presentation piece. A friend of mine had an idea years ago, making and selling at a jewelry store, going to put rings and stuff when they sell diamond rings, etc. They give you that, give you a box.
Yeah, I see Mark Sillay's in.
I'm in.
Oh,
Are you gonna do a demo for us tonight?
Mark,
I
I
can't hear
gotta
you,
know.
Mark.
He said, okay.
Okay.
I said, okay, I
Oh,
am.
okay. Okay.
Hey, don't cross him. He's a grumpy old guy sometimes.
You got it.
Not all the time, just some
Well,
of the time.
he's sitting outside. He's sitting outside, not in the shop. I thought maybe he wasn't ready for the demo tonight.
I'm ready.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, Dane put him on a schedule.
All
So
right.
we'll be seeing him tonight.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Doug.
How you doing?
Hey, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Susan.
Who's
Dane.
Daisy?
I'm in.
Hi, Susan.
How you doing, Brenda?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Good.
Doug Mark's in, Albert's in, Bob Grinstead's in, Cliff, don't want to miss anybody now, but it's changing as I'm going.
Matt Harbor's here, Dean Grimes is here.
Yeah.
Andy's
Brenda,
here.
you've had a couple.
I try to be here. Missed last week too.
Yep, Andy's here.
Brenda, you've had a couple of good lessons here lately, haven't you?
Yes, I have, haven't I? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check
So
this
I'll
out.
send you-
While I'm here, check this out.
I'm going
This-
back.
Yeah.
Did I show you guys this? I think
Uh-huh.
last week. This is the little box that Dane helped me make. Right?
You're good.
Piece, right? Check
Looks
this
wonderful.
out. This is on my own then after he left.
Oh, I
There
like
you
that.
go.
green
Nice.
light.
Beautiful, Brenda.
Pretty nice,
Isn't
Brenda.
that sweet?
Nice.
Very
Put
nice.
Well.
symbols in the top. Yeah.
Looks great, Brenda.
Did you unload
Thank you.
Dave's truck when he was there? All that wood he had in the back of it.
This is all I got out of that whole truckload of wood he had.
No, it wasn't enough. I figured to keep busy and steal it all out of back.
He had a bunch of wood, but it's like,
You needed to get somebody to distract
Stingy
him,
gut.
Brenda.
yeah, that's what I should have. Yeah, should have just emptied it out while he was asleep or something.
Yeah.
You got
You
some
never would've missed it.
3408 on there, Brenda?
What's that?
You got 3408 on there? It's got a nice
Yes, I
shine.
put 3408 on the one I finished. I didn't put no finish on the other one yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of that and give it a try.
I love that 3408. I
It's
love it.
nice stuff. It's easy, quick, done.
Yeah. It's the only thing I can get a shine out of. Matter of fact, Dane said he's coming back this fall. And I was hoping maybe we could do some finishes when he comes back.
That'd be nice.
Yes,
Make it
him and
work.
Kate got, the perfect finish. I just can't get it to work right.
I like
3408 is the only thing I can do.
3408 on my pens.
What was
Say
that?
again,
I just
Andy?
like one coat of 3408 on. I like one coat of the 3408 on my pens instead of them 10 or 15 layers of super glue. You still feel
Yes.
the wood. It don't feel like plastic.
Yes.
Andy,
Seems to
when
be
you
holding up
first-
so far.
There you go.
Andy,
Yeah.
when you first
I
said,
did 3460 on my pens.
Okay.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's not quite as thin. The viscosity's different.
You still do it same way, one coat,
One coat.
Yep.
3460. Okay.
I'll back Susan up on that. The 3408 is 5 centipoids. It can wick down into the bushings because it goes into less than a thousandth of a crack. The 3460 is what most of the pen turners use. It's 45 centipoids. It's thin enough to soak into the wood, but it's not thin enough to really go in and lock down your bushings.
Yeah, I read somewhere that your bushings might get glued in.
that's just a story, Andy. Just a
What's that?
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just read that somewhere.
I'll testify to that. It's just a story.
Yeah.
Uh, good friend of mine had white flaky stuff out of it. And just the other day, he was telling me that his good friend right down the street, same thing. It just wasn't working right. And it's yeah, chuck maintenance is chuck maintenance, but boy, if you get super glue in it,
It
it's
makes it real fun.
I got to
Been
check
there,
that.
done that.
I got to check that when Trace was here, we was using it, and he took it off and put another chuck on. He says, "I think there's something wrong with that chuck." Well, then when Dane was here, he looked at it. He says, "I could take that home and fix it for you, but it would cost you a fortune to mail it back to you." He said, "I suggest you just get rid of it and buy you a new one."
Daddy?
hey Ronnie.
Here's Ronnie.
Hey,
There's
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
That truck that was stuck for a good friend of mine. I think what happened, he filled it with CA glue. So I told him to soak it in some acetone and that didn't do it. So I said, well, take it out and let it dry a couple of days. And I said, put it in the oven. So he did one better than that. He took it and he put it on his barbecue pit. And he took it out, and he thought it wasn't free yet because it's a Vic Mark 150, and two of the pinions turn and the other one don't. So he must have been on the wrong pinion. So he brought it down today, and I was about to pull it apart, and I stuck the wrench in there, and I mean, it was like butter. It was going in and out, and I looked at him, and he looked at me. So I didn't have to pull it apart, and he had one screw that he couldn't get out of his jaws. So I took the propane torch and heated it up a little bit, and that screw came right out because we melted the CA in it, and everything's working fine. So a little heat on CA will do the trick.
Yep.
But remember what he said, little heat. Don't fire up that map torch and go to cooking on it. You could do a little harm. Not a lot of heat.
That would be tough.
You don't want to turn them
Yeah.
red like you're welding, cutting.
No,
I got lucky and soaking mine in acetone did the trick.
Yep.
I got mine stuck last year doing ornaments, and I ended up using the heat gun on high. That was enough to break it loose. So, then of course, cleaning, scrubbing, and, using a little steel wool afterwards to make sure everything worked. But yeah, heat did the trick on mine.
I think mine are out of alignment.
I don't want to beat the drum on this all the time, but you can keep them dry lubed, and that CA won't cling to them as bad. No matter what CA you use, they have to be able to make a porous contact. It works best if you rough the surface a slight bit. You're creating a porous contact. And if you know anything about any adhesive, if it cures hard, something has to be able to anchor or give. So if you use a dry lubricant, I'm not talking that blue and yellow can stuff. If you use something, I use T9 by Boeing, but somebody the other day told me about another one that was out, and I didn't write it down because I'm so happy with one I'm using. But it dries. It dries. It does. There's a coating remaining, but it dries. You can wipe over it. You get it on your wood. You can get it on your lathe. Get it on your hands, your face. I don't know how that happened on the face, but it didn't even leave a mark. But, I read about that face thing. Right, Andy? Randy, was that book you read?
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Frank.
The Horrors of Wood Turning. Book looks like a phone book, really.
There's a fat one.
Yeah. But half the pages are empty because you can insert all the problems you've ever had on the blank pages that other people haven't experienced. Yeah, right.
They lie.
Yeah. Nothing new.
No. But what's that old saying? If you're not making mistakes, you're not making. It all one leads to the other. I don't want to try that. Why? It's like that redneck joke. Here, hold my beer. And the last great words of a redneck. But you have to try it. I'm not knocking rednecks now, okay?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. I used to tease people that parachute. Why the hell would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I have my wife's sweet little niece loves it. She says it's a thrill and a rush that she said that you'll never experience. She was right. I'm not going to experience it.
Yeah.
You and me both.
No.
I can't see it. Lights don't bother me, but I can't see jumping out of a plane.
No.
I'll do a hot air balloon ride some year. Those would be fun.
Hey, if you see me flying out of an airplane, find out who pushed me, okay?
Right.
Give
I
them a
tell you what,
nickel.
that hot air balloon ride isn't all it cracked up to be either.
You do one.
The ride itself is fun, but you know how they land them things?
Let the air out.
No. Well, yeah, they let the air out and you crash.
It's a controlled crash.
No,
I
it wasn't
love
no
that- I
control
love that
crash when I
term.
was in it. I landed on the pilot. Yes, sir. There was 4 in the basket.
One of
I
the
landed on
woodturners,
the pilot. My sister landed on my mom. Lost my glasses.
one of the woodturners in my club, he and his brother had a hot air balloon, and his brother lived at the end of my street. And occasionally they would take off and land. He called me one morning at 6:30 a.m. He said, "Go look south from your house." And he was like 200 feet up in the balloon above my house. So,
Did it get you some pictures?
Somewhere I've got pictures.
Yeah.
But he sent me
way to get
pictures. He sent me pictures from the balloon, and that like was the coolest thing. It was like, how cool is that? What kind of modern magical technology age do we live in that's possible? You know what I mean?
We was flying over a cornfield and seen a big old buck running through the cornfield, and you can see him, from above.
Yeah, they bounce.
That was cool.
Yeah. But they occasionally, like at least twice in the last 5 years, they landed a balloon in my subdivision. So, which, there's a lot of trees. There's a lot of trees. So I'm not sure I'm sure it was unplanned.
It's like, I'm not a great swimmer, but to do a TV thing 30 years ago, I went and took a scuba diving program. And the guy said, swim over here. And I said, I don't swim that good. He said, no, just over here. And I said, I don't swim that good. But I took the class. We went out to the Gulf, and I dove to 125 feet or something like that, sat across the leg of an oil rig for the testing. And then I went to the Bahamas and did it again. Then I went someplace else and did it again. Today, he'd have thrown me over the ship and threatened me and thrown me over the ship to get me out. It's a rather unique experience. I get nervous, which it's a good thing. I get nervous and get worked up just in aqua size, and that's only 5 feet of water. Maybe 5 feet of water right about
Yeah,
here.
I miss diving, but I don't dive anymore. My ears don't let me, and I got to wear too much weight. Because I float like a balloon.
Yeah, so do I. My sister always says, if my butt goes in first, I'm going to drown. Because I just float.
Anybody got anything for show and tell tonight?
I do.
Billy's got some awesome stuff.
Yeah, let's see it, Billy.
Well, okay, I'll show you the first one first. Let me get some light on just to make sure. Okay.
See your beard nice and shiny.
My wife bought me this little light setup right here.
Oh,
y'all can see stuff.
Okay.
That's gorgeous.
This is a piece. It's spalted hackberry, and if you can see in the bottom, it had a little bit of a crack, and that was away from the pith because the pith was up here when I cut it. I cut about that much of it out, and so I knew it was wormy, and I started finding all these wormholes. That was a pretty big one right there. There were 2 live critters at least in this when I turned it.
Those are fun.
Longhorn borer beetle grubs. But I decided because of how wormy it was, I wasn't sure it would hold together. So I decided to fill it with resin, and I tinted it with a turquoise colored or blue green resin, and inside and out finished with lacquer. And then after the lacquer cured, I buffed it with Axe abrasive paste and finished it with Axe polish and restoring paste. And I really like how it turned out.
I do too.
It's
That thing is gorgeous.
Thank you. It's 11 3/4 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches deep.
Man.
The other one is actually I did this one 2 years ago, and I sprayed it with oil-based polyurethane. And this outer ring is Cocobolo.
Oh my.
It's 12 3/4 inches wide, 3 1/4 inches deep. This inside ring, Doug Moore sent me. He casted a river blank that he turned a platter out of, and he made this one too small. You can see there's a separation here between the main piece in the bottom and this second ring here. He cut it off with his bandsaw and made it too small, and he didn't know what he was going to do with it. Well, a buddy of mine in the UK was given this beautiful chunk of cocoa, and it was about a 1/2 inch thick, but it was too big for his lathe. So he put it on a bandsaw and cut it out. And you can see, let me found it right here is where he cut it. You can see where there's some resin right in there. So this is where he cut it, and he cut a ring out of it so that it was small enough for his lathe. And he said he didn't know what he was going to do the rest of it. And I said, well, send it to me. I got an idea. So when Doug Moore found out Rich was sending me this, he said, okay, well, I'll send you a couple of pieces too. So what I decided to do was put them both together. And I tried to color match the resin that Doug used and put them together. Anyway, long story short, for some reason on this Cocobolo, the oil-based poly didn't cure. A year later, it was still tacky. And I've used oil-based poly on cocoa before, never had a problem. But I even wiped it down really, really well inside and out with acetone to remove the oils. Cocobolo is really, really oily. And that didn't work. So this last week, I spent sanding this back down to bare wood and resin, took all of the cocoa off of it. It had finally dried, took all the cocoa off, took all of the polyurethane off. It had finally dried, but it was nasty and dull and had crap stuck all over it. So I sanded it all back, shot it with 4 coats inside and out of Deft clear gloss, let each let the inside cure for a day and a half, buffed it with again Axe abrasive paste and restoring polish paste, and then did the same thing on the back, and it's got a really, really nice sheen to it.
Oh, it does indeed.
Hey,
And
Billy,
I sent you pictures of these, Eddie.
I know, Billy.
Okay.
Billy, we got a question, looks like in the chat here
Okay.
for you. It says, Billy, how do you deal with pinholes in the epoxy?
Good question. I have 3 pressure pots, and it depends on the resin that I'm using. The resin that I used on this one, I went ahead, I put this one in my big pressure pot, 5-gallon, CA Technologies, I think, or California Air, one of the two. But it's I really didn't need to pressure it, because when I did the inside, I didn't pressurize it. I'm using it's a very slow curing epoxy resin. It's OL Login 2. It takes about 48 hours to cure, and it's still too soft after 48 hours to turn, which is why one of the reasons it took me a month to do this. It takes a good 3 days to get this so that it's hard enough that it will turn. And because how slow curing it is, I don't get any air bubbles in it at all. But when I use Alumilite, which is what I used with this one, I put it in my pressure pot and I don't get any of those pinholes. But with any epoxy, whether I'm using whatever I've used in the past, liquid diamonds or Alumilite or OL login, if I have any worries about small air bubbles, I just put it in a pressure pot and I never have an issue.
How do you, how do you deal
How
with
do you
the
deal with beetles? I've not found, I do kill them all, yeah. I've not found any live beetles. I keep finding grubs, and I don't know why. This particular piece, as soon as I harvested it, I took it into my shop, and it was stored with some dry blackjack oak that I've had for a few years, and I can only assume that the beetles from the blackjack found their way into this one, because I don't have nearly as many grub holes in the pieces that are outside as I had in this one here. That, or they just really, really like hackberry. I'm not real sure. But I wish I knew how to rid myself of the beetles. I have that guy, my exterminator, and my mind goes crazy. My exterminator comes every 3 months, and I have him just really, really spray the inside of my shop and all around the shop really, really well every 3 months. I'm hoping eventually I'll get rid of them.
Teaches you to wear a shield, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you get a live one, you don't want that splattering in your face.
Right. All right. Hey, let's go to Doug Miller. See what he's done this week.
Howdy.
Talk to us.
Howdy. I'm here.
What you got?
Well, okay, there you go. I've said several times that I've been given some trees lately. One of them being a Bradford pear. Folks said, storm took it down. I offered to help clean it up. I just wanted a couple of pieces of wood, and they end up cutting the entire thing down and not giving me all the wood that I wanted. So I pulled a piece yesterday, and green as grass. Well, figuratively speaking, soaking wet. It wasn't dripping wet as I was spinning it. It wasn't spraying me, but it was definitely wet. This was supposed to be a wing bowl. This was a log that was 11 inches long, 5 inches deep, and obviously my wings didn't make it. I did end up with a nice bark inclusion down that side. Real pretty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Inside, it's typical of pear, very smooth, very soft in the hand. It goes thin real easy. I think, you can see.
Yeah.
But it's still got some meat to it. It's not paper thin right there. I was wishing the whole thing had gotten that thin, so then you can kind of take your air hose and blow some of the air out or the water out before you finish it. But it didn't. So I've got wax on it is all. It ended up 5x2. That's pretty small out of an 11 by 5 log. But anyway, that's what I ended up with because, like I said, my wings didn't make it. It actually came out of the chuck and broke one of the wings. And so I just took them off, kind of like we had on our demo a month or so ago, where Cade was going to make something and it didn't work. It broke or something, and he ended up making a little pot. But like any green wood, this thing has already moved. I'll hold it this way. You can almost see that where my thumb is that's where that bark inclusion is.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit oval from what it was.
What's the wood, Doug? That's pretty bark. What's the wood?
Bradford pear.
Ah, thank you.
I
Yeah,
love turning Bradford
and like
pear.
I
It's
said, it's
gorgeous.
green.
I'd like to
I've
find
got
some.
what have I got? It's a whole tree, everything that I thought was big enough to bring home. Oh, I've probably got 500 pounds of it sitting out behind my shed now, ready to go.
Goodness. Hey, you're not that far from me. I'll come get some of it.
Come on. There, you can almost see right there where the pith is. It actually has raised up right there just a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I
is
noticed that.
90
Yeah.
degrees. That's 90 degrees from the bark. So it's going to go tall and long across.
That's cute.
And it's gonna get shorter and narrower from top to bottom here. But that's okay. I knew it would. So
Yeah.
that's all right.
I love pieces like that.
Yeah.
Watch it
Nice.
move.
Well, you can eliminate the warping. Just do an end grain bowl and it won't warp.
Yeah, I could do some ingraining, and I could have done that if I wasn't planning on something totally different.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Dave King.
Dave, you got to talk to us, sir.
I'm talking.
Keep going.
I'm
Where
talking
you
right
at?
here.
Where you at?
Chapping up a storm
The
here.
Dave Kingsley?
That's me. There I am.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm sharing the screen with Mark. I suppose I could be
Oh, there you
in
go.
worse company. Well, this is a little cherry pot, I guess.
That is pretty.
Yeah, it is. I had a little problem with this on the inside because that huge bark inclusion was really knocking my tool around. And so the inside isn't as nice as I would have liked it, but it came out okay.
I like it. I love the coloring. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't see it on the camera, but there's a nice chatoyance in this dark spot when you hit it just right.
I got it just now. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
What kind
Yeah,
of what
there it is.
finish you put? What did you say you finished that with?
Oil. Teak oil.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you, Dave. Beautiful.
It's just a little bit bigger than a softball.
Nice.
And it's not a rattle.
he's finally perfected the rattle. He's moved on.
That's
you,
nice
Dave.
face.
Good job, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go to Sandy.
Oh, hi, everybody. Ugh.
There she is.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, I hope you can. This thing is huge.
Oh,
that's
my
gorgeous.
that is gorgeous.
It's
Yeah,
really
it is
large.
really
Large
pretty.
for me. And here's the back.
Wow.
Love that grain.
That's
Yeah,
a gorgeous
this
piece
is
of
an
wood.
incredible piece of wood. I got lucky at the club drawing. We didn't have a Christmas thing this year, COVID. So we had a, afterwards, in January, I guess it was, February or something. Anyway, they did a drawing and everybody's name was popping out and I thought, geez, my name must not be in there. Anyway, I came next to the end and it was a piece, it was big, round and brown and it didn't show anything, but they told me it was a piece of myrtle burl. And they said, you're really lucky, da, 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 da. But it looked like nothing until I started to turn it and boy, it just took my breath away. It just was beautiful.
That is a gorgeous piece.
Yes.
A gorgeous
Easy to
wood.
turn, huge.
Great shape,
It's,
great design.
it's about, I want to say it's about 17 and a half inches round. It's pretty big.
Big piece of myrtle.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't very thick, so I didn't have a choice as far as what I could make with it was the platter. And I would say probably at maximum about an inch maybe wide, maybe an inch and a quarter, something like that. It wasn't very thick, but that was okay. So
And you're
certainly
finished?
brought out the best in that piece.
yeah.
Yes, you did.
I finished it with the axe as well with the abrasive paste. I sanded it down to, I don't know, 600, 700, somewhere in there, 800. and used the abrasive paste and then the restoring polish and buffed it on the wheel. Came out beautifully.
Yes,
That's
it
gorgeous.
did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Gorgeous.
Well, I got one more thing I have to tell you I'm doing, because I think I'm probably going crazy being in the house so much. I have all my beading tools and I've been playing with them lately, so I decided that it was time to make some handles. I have some new tools because I don't have anything else to do but spend money. And so I decided that I would do a basket illusion.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, now this is for a new party tool. It still has the wax on it, so it's not in there yet. So I finished that one, and I just used spray lacquer. After I had to use the fixative because of the coloring, the archives. And then these are gonna be, well, this is the first one. I have 4 more to go. It's a different, this will be for my beading tools, because previously I made PVC handles, and so I decided it was time to upgrade since I had so much time on my hands.
Those are beautiful, Sandy. In my experience, I get better wear from spray poly than from spray lacquer, but your mileage may vary.
Yeah, I might try that. I can't spray it over this because I don't think you can spray poly over lacquer once they're sprayed.
I have done that successfully too.
Oh, you have? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
you just lightly sand it down a little bit so it's got something to grab onto, and then I have done poly on lacquer, but I mean,
you gotta make sure the lacquer is really fully cured though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these will be by the time I finish, because I decided that I'm gonna tap them and put the set screws in so that when I travel, I can flip them over and put the sharp end in. So I don't have to worry, because the tines are so small.
Not to poo-poo Matt, Sandy, but all of my lathe tools handles that I've made, I finished with coats of Deft, and they still look like the day I did them.
Oh, the Deft.
Good for you, Billy. I'm thinking you must not use those tools often enough.
Shots are being fired.
Keep it nice, guys. Keep it nice.
Yeah. Well,
in all honesty, I think that the tools that I have that I made the handles for myself, I used the Deft sanding, lacquer-based sanding sealer on, and they're fine. So.
Well, and I used that, workable fixative first to hold the color in, even though they were archival. I figured I'm going to try and hold the color, but I'm thinking that poly might be a bit better, because I think it might be a little more sturdy than that lacquer. I don't know. I'll try it. I'll buy some.
Also, you might want to consider, after you do a slight sanding on that, to spray shellac sealer on it, because that's a good base when you're changing from lacquer to poly or even to water base.
Okay, and what did you say it was again? I missed the first part.
The shellac in the spray can. The shellac sealer in the spray can.
I'll try it. I'll try it.
It cures.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
When you add the shellac, it cures a little bit softer between the coats. Not that the finish is softer, it's just in the layering, it's got more resilience. But Billy, I'm with you. I have handles I turned eons ago, and I've got lacquer on them, and that's it. And I polish them out. Everything I have went through the storm last August, and it sat out in the weather for a couple of weeks before we got it moved into the house. I buffed those on my BO buffer. All I did, buff them, and they look like they're diamonds. And I've got 5 or 6 tool handles. Get this, made out of Coca-Cola. That must have been the days when I still had $1. They were beautiful. I found those pieces 1.5 by 1.5 by about 14, 15 inches long at a lumberyard that's no longer with us. And I couldn't pass them up. I didn't have any plans for them the day I bought them, but I saw them the first day they got them in from Mexico. and I took them in a heartbeat. Anybody else showing? Just put your name in the chat. Brenda's going to call on you. When Brenda calls on you, start chatting, and then we can find your name in this mess of about 66 or 68 people in the club right now. And if you've got something, don't hesitate. We want to see it.
Yeah. How about we go to Gerald Avery?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello there.
Yes.
I found me a little gauge. I was at Joanne's picking up something with my granddaughter, and I found this gauge.
Isn't that cool? I have one in my wallet, been carrying for 20 years.
It's got 14 different common measurements on it, anything from 1/8 of an inch up to 2 inches. And next time I go in there, I'm going to look and see if they've got the next size bigger also. But this thing was only $5.99, and I had a 50% off coupon. So, hey, $3, that's not bad.
Sweet. Is that made out of like plastic or?
It's aluminum.
Aluminum? Okay.
And you got it where?
I got it at Joann's. So probably all the other little fabric stores and stuff across the nation's probably got it too. This is the package it came in.
Joann's has got some good coupons. If you have a Joann's nearby, if you like download their app to your phone, they have like coupons almost every day.
Yeah. Yeah, they had sent me one for 50% off, and we went in there to get something for my little granddaughter, and they were out of it. So we were just walking around in the store, and I happened to see this over in the quilting area, and I figured, oh, it's a piece of flimsy plastic or something like that. But I was surprised. I picked it up and looked. No, it's solid aluminum.
The one I have is about as thick as a credit card, and it's plastic. And I have it amongst my useless credit cards in my wallet. And it might really, if you're looking to check a measurement in a hardware store or something like that, or picking up lumber, I knew a guy who was a master ornamental, and he kept one in his pants pocket all the time.
Well, I'm going to put the only thing I'm going to do to it is I'm going to put a magnet on it so I can stick it up and find it instead, so it won't be in the sawdust.
Good move.
You can't rely on that little hole in the nail. You got to have a magnet.
Right.
That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
How about Howard King? Howard.
Hello.
There you are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's
Yeah.
a copyrighted statement. Watch out.
All right.
What you been making this week?
Well, last talking about the golden rule calipers and things, and I had made this about 12, 13 years ago, and it's made out of Purple Heart, and I forgot who was talking about the golden rule. Was Captain Eddie? Was it you?
There's a couple of us.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I've used that. It's about wore out just about, and so I made this little thing here.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, that's
nice.
That's
Pretty.
lamp.
Very nice.
I call it my Tiffany lamp. That's what I call it. But it's
Wow.
it's brown mallee burl, and the black is blackwood, African blackwood, and has a little.
That's sweet.
Little blackwood finial on it attached to it, and that's one of those. That's one of those clarinet bell that you can buy at somewhere, Woodcraft or somewhere. But anyway, that's what that is, and there's the bottom of it. There's the bottom of this.
That is neat.
That is pretty gorgeous.
And, yeah, this person, the base is. I never have seen it before. It's a blackwood burl, and I bought that in Atlanta. Happened to see it, and I use Minwax antique oil in all my stuff. So this has about 5 or 6 coats of Minwax antique oil. So
that is
gorgeous.
And
I got one more thing. Can I show one more? Or any questions?
Of course, it's beautiful.
Any questions?
Do you buff it when you're finished with your oil?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just used the Renaissance wax. That's what I put on it.
Okay.
I don't put the triple E or the white diamond at all because I sanded up to about 600. And you know, I got one more thing. I've been making these basket illusion type vases, and
Oh my goodness.
this is crepe myrtle. A
Wow.
large piece of crepe myrtle, and at our club meeting, somebody had brought it in, and luckily I won it, and it was huge. And so,
wow,
I cut it in two, and I turned the top part with an opening, and I turned the bottom part with an opening. Then I put a mortise and tenon on the edges and put them back together and glue them, and then
that's the way I do my urns.
I did the beadwork on it, and
Man.
then I burned these little marks on it, and I'm kind of a math nut, and it has 37,872 burn marks on it.
That is awesome, and I don't have the patience for stuff like that.
I was going to say, how long did that take you?
It took me about 3 weeks.
Wow, amazing.
What's the top of it look like?
Pardon?
What's the top of it? Oh,
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
Oh,
It's just been dyed. I use the Faber-Castell India ink. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I made 3 of these. I made 3 of these, and I took them to SWAT last summer, and they were on display. So I don't know if anybody went last summer, but they were. But this is the smallest one. So
the smallest one?
Pardon me?
You said that was the smallest one?
Yeah, this is the smallest one. Yeah, it's 17 inches by 8.5 inches. You know, I'll show a larger one next week, I guess. But
wow,
I didn't want to take up too much time.
Hey, we got all night.
There's the bottom. Bud. That's the bottom. So
nice.
That's beautiful.
That is awesome.
It's amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
You turn all that green?
Pardon?
Was that, did you?
Yes. I turned it green. I got it. You know, I mounted on the lathe. Then I parted it, and then I turned a bow out of this bottom part. Turned a bow out of this part, and I said I used denatured alcohol to dry. I put it in there about a day, and then I take it out and let it drip dry, and keep it in a bag about 2 weeks, and it's pretty much ready to go. And so, of course, it moves. It's going to move. All wood moves, and so then I put them back on the lathe, match the diameters, put a tenon on one side, a mortise on the other side, put them together, glue it on the lathe, and so anyway.
Really
Looks nice.
We got too much time on my hand, I guess.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. That is beautiful. Goodness. Let's see if we can find James. James D. James, are you with us? Say something so we can hear you. James?
James, we know you're out there.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah.
You got me now?
There he is.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a little carried away the other day and made a bowl out of pistachio shells and resin.
Your camera needs to aim down a little bit. We can't see the work. There you go.
There it is.
This is all pistachio shells in resin.
Come up a little bit. There you go.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
I got kind of crazy.
It made a nice pattern.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are the shells hard to turn?
Not really. Some of them did pop out. Definitely had my face shield on when I did it. The little pieces that chipped off were kind of sharp.
Okay.
You eat all the pistachio nuts?
Yeah. I
Acorn
still have a
caps.
lot left.
Acorn caps work well and stuff like that too. I've done that.
Do they?
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Did you have
Almost
any
looks
trouble
like
with air
rose
getting?
petals.
Pardon?
Did you have any trouble with air getting trapped in those shells as you
Some
cast
of
it?
it, yeah, some of it did. And some of the resin is clear. It didn't get all, it just found a void. But it hardened up after I had it in the pot for about 3 days.
It
And
really looks cool though.
yeah,
It's a nice,
I've got
nice
a-
effect.
yeah, I've got a bunch of pecan shells. I want to try that. Sometimes he's kind of boring sometimes.
Show us the bottom again and tell us how you finished that bottom.
Well, what kind of resin did you use?
Geez, my mind just went blank. It's the one I can get at Woodcraft. But this is just a piece of wood I found at Home Depot, and I cut it to fit the recess.
Yeah.
Illuminate, that's what I used.
Okay.
And
Pressure pot.
yeah, it was in my pressure pot for about 3 days. I put it in there on a Thursday afternoon, left town, came back, and it held up pretty good. And I used the Dr. Kirk's polish on it to get rid of all the sandy mark or the tool marks. And then ran it through the buffing wheels on several of it.
That is pretty
Measures
cool.
measure 6 inches across, about 1 3/4 inches.
Nice.
Really nice.
I love that.
Yeah, you'd
Love
be
that.
surprised.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. You can put all sorts of stuff in resin.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can find Scott Hampton.
Oh, Scott's in trouble.
Oh, I'm here. Hey,
Scott, where you
find
at?
me.
Hey, Scott.
Hello.
I can't find
There I
you.
am.
There you are.
Found me now.
Whoops.
Oh, where did I go? I was there, and now I'm not there. Hey, there we are.
There you go.
I showed these right at the beginning of today's meeting when there's like only 6 people here, so I thought I'd show them again.
Yes, I
did
missed it.
I did an IRD last Saturday on making finials. So this was the first one I showed how to make. These are your, the ones that go on top of your boxes, hang on your ornaments with a globe on top and that kind of thing. So I taught the real basics with this one. Then I went a little larger and showed how I make my ornate bottle stoppers.
My goodness.
Which are, more ornate finials. Sometimes I go a little thinner. I don't want to go really thin because people are going to be pulling these out of bottles. I have a friend of mine up in Fresno that hand blows bottles, and he's going to make me like a dozen of them for this year's craft shows. So that'll be fun to do. And I'm also, the virtual craft festival. I don't know if you guys know about that. I put the information in the chat. I'll be teaching how I make this Saturday during the craft festival on YouTube. It's free for everybody. And now from the last finial I made, and Captain Eddie really liked this one.
That's a finial?
Bottle stopper.
This is my garden finial.
Garden finial.
It almost looks like a bottle rocket. I mean, a rocket.
Is that a finial for a
Yes.
mason jar?
You drill a hole in the bottom, and you stick a stake down in there, or a piece of rebar, and you can stand it up. And for this one, my wife gave me the idea. I'm going to drill a hole in here and add some bearings and put some whirligigs so they'll spin around in the wind while they're out in the garden. So,
what kind of wood is that?
This is just a pine 4x4 fence post you get at the big box hardware stores.
Garden finial.
Yeah.
I've seen it all now.
And I scorched the wood to bring out the grain in a lot of it, and I painted the stripes with acrylic paint. And then I'll be coating it with Hellsman spar or urethane to keep it all protected while it's outside. But this one's almost 3 feet tall. I've got another blank here that's a little taller that I'm gonna make another one out of this. And I can go up to almost 4 feet on my lathe. It's just I can turn up to 47 inches between centers on my lathe. So I'm gonna shoot for that here pretty soon. So
Hey,
My
Scott,
goodness.
yeah.
I have a question about that spar spray you were using. Does that hold up real well?
Oh yeah, Hellsman's. Yeah, it's a spar varnish or urethane. They use it on boats and a lot of other outdoor things. That are around moisture. It's UV protected. It protects your wood from UV rays and.
Yeah, I just made a sign for somebody. That was the only thing I could find, so I used that, and I was just hoping it would hold up well. So.
Oh, it will. You give it like 2 or 3 coats, and it'll be fine.
I use it on goblets. That's my go-to finish for goblets now.
Oh yeah, that'll work too. Because it is waterproof, so it does seal the wood if you're going to put liquid in, like in a goblet or something.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
A garden goblet. I can't.
No, it's not a garden goblet. It's a garden finial.
A garden finial. Sorry. A garden finial.
Yep.
Wow. That is awesome.
My wife says I need to make a whole bunch of them and line them up in my front yard and put a for sale sign up so I can sell a bunch. So.
There you go. Oh, goodness. Let's see what Bob Moffat's doing.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
There he is.
How you doing? Finish up this second here. I got the phone.
What the heck? Who in the world is calling Bob while he's on
Okay,
his
there
meeting?
we go. I got a couple of platters that I finished the coloring on. Ooh. I use
Very
just Sonya paints on the inside and then red and yellow and dyes. Oh. This was about 12 inches. And this was a piece of wood that I had in a class I taught on these, and nobody wanted this piece because it had a big bark inclusion going across it. So
oh, jeez.
I said, well, that's fine. I'll take it.
I think it's beautiful.
And this is another one that I did.
Ooh, nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Gotta get the bearings fixed in my lathe so it'll run a little truer, but
Yeah, it does look a little off balanced.
yeah. And this was a smaller one I did out of a piece of cherry.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Nice.
Those are neat.
Goodness.
Textured the back of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, I've got a question.
Textured the rim of it. So you can get it closer.
I heard somebody try to ask a question about it.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, this is Mark.
Oh.
I have a question for you on those platters.
Uh-huh.
Is it the lathe or the turner that's eccentric?
I think it's the turner that's a little off center.
I thought we were.
I'm hoping to see that birdhouse I saw on Facebook earlier today. You still have that hanging around? The one with the multicolored top?
Yeah, I've got that in a gallery now. I don't have that at the house.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that thing was pretty too.
Yeah, that was very pretty.
The Spectre
That was using
roof.
Spectrafly with that one.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Took me back to the 60s and 70s.
It didn't send you on a
That's all
trip,
I'm
did it?
saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, goodness.
Be careful. We record this.
Hey, Susan, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's go to Susan.
Well, I was taking it easy this week. Had some health things going on Monday. So when I got out, I went and experimented with a skew. And I did the skew, and I did the base with a spindle gouge in the top of the spindle gouge. But that was, it's a piece of 2x4. I cut up some 2x4s for some more practice. That's Mark's recommendation. So that's what I'm doing.
with
And-
a
Nice
skew.
skew, nice skew
You did a
work,
good
Susan.
job with it.
Yeah.
So, and I showed this last week, but I did put a finish on it because I wanted to try some walnut oil to see what it would look like. And I decided not to dye any part of this because I just love it the way it is.
Oh, it is.
Beautiful wood.
That's pretty.
That's gorgeous.
You
Yes,
see
it
the
is.
grain goes there, and you got red in it, you got black. I love I don't know if you can see it, this here.
Yeah,
I mean, I just love it the way it is.
I do too. Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't have colored it at all.
Yeah.
No.
So, and that one is sycamore from the neighbor's tree.
That is gorgeous.
Really pretty. Really well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very nice, Susan. All right, let's go back to Scott Hampton again. He's got something else he's going to show.
All right. You guys
Where you
ready? I'm going to be demonstrating. I'm going to switch cameras because my large door is open real quick. So I'm going to.
Is it another finial?
No. Let me see if I can get the right camera going here. There we go. I'm going to be demonstrating at the symposium this year. And this is one of the pieces I'll be demonstrating how to make.
Nice.
Nice.
I love that wood.
Nice piece.
With a really deep textured platter. I use an Arbortech carver to do that while the lathe is running, which is a real exciting thing to watch. And I'm also going to be making a 17-inch platter doing the same kind of embellishment on it. So, and I burned the bottom, but it's a bit banged up because it's gone through 3 doctor's office displays and it got bounced around in my friend's back of this minivan once when he was driving through a canyon. So I need to refinish the back, but that's all burnt. I won't be burning it at the AEW symposium. They don't allow that, so I'll just dye it black.
What kind of wood is that?
This is a spalted sycamore.
Really pretty.
That's gorgeous.
You'll have to show us how you did that texture. That sounds interesting.
That sounds like a demonstration one day.
Yeah.
Sure it does. Yeah.
I'm glad there's another off-center person in the group.
I have to wait until after the symposium because I promised them I wouldn't do any IRDs or anything on it until afterwards. So.
That's okay. We still have time.
We're probably filled up until then anyway.
Yeah. What finish did you use on the inside, Scott? That's really
This
pretty.
is wipe-on poly that I polished with really, really fine wet sandpaper.
Nice.
Wow.
I got like 10 coats of that in there.
True.
Polished in between.
That is gorgeous. What kind of texturing tool did you say you used on that?
It's a Arbortech mini carver. It's a power carver.
Oh, a carver.
A carver. Let me pull it out real quick. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm sure you guys have seen these before.
Yep.
Okay.
But I take it across the face while the piece is still spinning on the lathe. It creates an exciting experience, believe me.
Really?
Yeah, I got it about 500 RPMs, and I got this thing going full blast, and you just hold on real tight and
Oh, for the best.
Wow.
Neat.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Scott.
Symposium, look
Before
me
we
up.
go-
I'll be there.
Brenda,
Wish
before
I
we
could go.
it's getting close to the time that we're going to have a demonstration. Tonight, folks, we're going to have one of our members, Mark Sillay, who doesn't do wood turning. Mark does wood slicing. And he's very, very good at that, and he teaches it extremely well. If you have an opportunity to go to one of Mark's classes, go. It's worth your time, your investment, and you will come back saying, wow, why didn't I think of that? But we're going to have that demonstration for you in a little bit. Mark's getting set up in the shop, and he's going to do a box for us and show us a rest that really will help you with your box, making a box. But I will have to mention to members who are just joining us or just becoming members, all the demonstrations we do here are done at no cost. I say that because we have no finances. We have no financial report. We have no committee. We don't have a board. We don't have officers. We don't have any of that crap. Pardon me. We just get together on a tailgate of the truck and talk wood turning. And if you want to be part of the program, you want to show something, you want to share something, you got a tip or a trick, you got photographs, you have work, whatever. This is your wood turning club. And I said earlier, we don't even have a rule book. And the book we have is blank, so you can fill in whatever you want. Right now, we're going to go to Mark Sillay. And folks, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to mute everybody. And then I'm going to unmute Mark Sillay in one moment. And then Mark can do his demonstration. I do that because we don't want background noise coming through. Like if you're watching Jeopardy or whatever, we just want it to be our conversations. So it's not a personal thing if you get muted, which I just now did. But if you have a comment, you have a question, whatever, respect our Turner. He may eventually get there, but if he's wandering, you can go ahead and unmute yourself by pressing spacebar or whatever device you have on your connection, and then we'll hear you. You can ask the question. And like I said earlier, there are no rules. All we want to do is hear or see what you have to share about wood turning. And I have Mark up here, iPhone 13.
Hey, Captain.
Mark, you're on. Yes.
Can I say something real quick?
Go, please.
Demos. Just real quick, the demo we got tonight may be a repeat. It may be, it may not. And also just remember, this may not be the way you do it. This is the way Mark does it. It works good for Mark. And if you got a better way of doing it, fine. Just keep your comments to yourself, while he's doing it. Just because he's not doing it the same way you do, just doesn't mean it's wrong.
Nope, don't let the air out of his bag. That's all we can say.
Yes.
Let's go to Mark right now, live and direct. Mark, you ready, sir?
Yeah.
All right, I'm on to hear you on.
Can you hear me?
We got you, bud.
Okay. All right, let me put this iPhone up in this little bracket here, and let me turn it around so that, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm going to slip this in this little bracket.
I just got to throw this out. Much better picture.
Okay, there we go. Okay, what Dane asked me to do was to show about box rests and a little demonstration of what I do for safety, right? Because a lot of people get in trouble when they start sticking tools down inside of, boxes and all that other stuff. Of course, the first rule, if you're going to hollow something, is never ever have the cutting surface of the tool go below center. When it goes below center, now this it's drawing in and it'll suck the tool under. Always be at center or above. Right? Number two, in my shop, I never use any type of hollowing tool that looks like this. It is extremely unsafe, especially for beginners. Reason, the cutting edge is outside of the support edge, and what it wants to do, it wants to tip down like this when you're in there. And as soon as it does that, you're out of control. All right? So I would avoid anything that looks like this. That's just me personally. Now, you can use something like this if you have some type of captive system that keeps the torque under control. But here, the leverage is way beyond the edge. So if you're going to use a tool, number one, I don't like to use round tools unless they're in a captive system. And the way to avoid that, of course, is to use a flat tool. If you use a flat tool and you have the cutting tip inside the left edge, then you've eliminated there is no torque. It's never going to twist. So that's one little thing. Anyway, just be very careful on some of these little hollowing tools. So what I've done here is we're going to take and we're going to explore the box rest. So if I'm going to do a little box, then my tool has an angled edge there and a right angle coming across this way from this side. And if you'll notice, I have a negative rake on here and then, of course, a tearaway. I've got this tool rest set up so that this cutting edge goes directly to the center. Now, if I turn this lathe on and I put the end tire flat across the bottom, I get out here, that's 3/4 of an inch of grab. So what does it want to do? It wants to grab it and tip like this. So I don't have to control, this is a flat scraper, so I don't have to control whether it's going to tip this way or not. What I have to do is control that it doesn't go below center. So in my shop, I never recommend that anybody ever uses any tool off of a tool rest like this, because they can get in trouble. It's a safety issue. So we replace this tool rest with a standard box rest. A box rest is simply a flat. Let me put it, I'll just stick it in there. All right. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the height of this so that my tool comes directly into the center of rotation. Now, guess what? If I keep this flat on this box rest, I can't go below center. It's safe. And then we can turn around. We'll just make a little cut here. We go, I'm just a tad below center. Just hang on. And you can stick this, you can go way down into these beer koozies and all these other type of things. I'll just put it across this way. So now what we can do if I keep it flat on that tool rest, just take a tiny bite, always use a negative rake. Just go across it. Now see how my handle's going over this way? Now, this is at an angle for a reason. All right, can you still see? Because now I can come up the side of the little box or the beer koozie or whatever, right? And the handle doesn't interfere. So as I come across, let me just. I've got one little line there, but it's pretty clean. So a box rest is very important, especially if you're using a flat tool, right? And the tool and the cutting edge is inside the left edge. So that way I've eliminated any twist or torque, and I've eliminated this tool from going below the center of rotation. That's a very, very safe way to use these tools in hollowing small boxes or large vases or whatever you're doing. Now, I'm going to show you something here. We're going to take this off, right? And for all those people, you can get these. These are standard things. You can get them online. What you can do.
See if one of our members can put a link to that in our chat, please.
Yeah, best wood tools. Okay, now on your mini lathe, you can also have a 5/8 post. And guess what? There's your little small flat box rest for doing tiny things on your mini lathe. You can do the same thing, and you can keep it in there right close to where you work, and you can't go below center, and you can't twist as long as you're using a flat situation. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay.
I believe that, Mark, I believe that item is now listed on
I got
our.
a question for you.
Yes. Yes.
Are those in different sizes, or is that just, you said just one size?
No, you can get them any size you want. Just tell Victor what you want. He'll make it for you.
Okay.
Now these tool posts, you see this tool post here? It's tight right now, but this unscrews. You can put 30, 40 different heads on this post. All kinds of shapes. And the same with the mini stuff. Okay. Now, if we have, I'm going to take this off here just a second. And again, you can grind your tool with a square edge in the corner or a rounded edge in the corner.
Now catch on that he said you can grind your tool. Mark has modified a scraper tool to do this with, and you can build your own. Don't ever, ever throw away an old tool. While he's setting up, Brenda, you said, can I get this? And referring to maybe different sizes. Yes, let me caution anybody buying a tool post. You need to know the model of your lathe. The model of your lathe when you talk to somebody about a tool post. It's the height of the post, the height of the carrier, and the depth you want to reach. If you don't have all that working, it's not going to work. I know somebody that mailed their post back to Robust 3 times because he couldn't agree on what he needed. So know the model number. They can help you when you do that. All right, Mark, pardon me for interrupting.
Okay, here we
Mark,
go.
I've got a question. You said
Yes.
Victor makes those box rests. Victor who?
I don't know his last name, but he's at Best Wood Tools.
Best Wood Tools. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If you go to his website, he's got every kind of configuration of tool rest that you can think of. Okay, if you have we're going to go to a hollow form. Right, let me plug in my phone so I don't run out of juice in the middle of this. Okay. So what I have here is I have a hollowing rig. Right.
Your camera's dropping out. The camera dropped out.
Okay, I see it. All right. Let me put it over. Maybe I can get it up here. Okay, so I have a captive system here, right? I have what they call the gizmo, everybody's got a captive system. So what I did is I cut a hollow form in half so that everybody could see the effect of this thing. Okay, so if you're going to do hollow forms, right, and you have a captive system where this bar is locked in, right, then I can go in the hole and I can go around, and then I have a problem. Once you get extended over this tool rest about 5 or 6 inches, you get a tremendous sine wave reverberation. Every time this tool bends down, it bends back up the same distance. And so people have all this vibration. So how do we eliminate the vibration and make this safe for children to use and old people to use and even middle-aged people to use, right? Instead of having this vibration, right, with this extension over there, then what we do is we get rid of the tool rest. Right? Let me back this thing out. Tool rest. So if I'm going to use a hollow out of hollow form, then what I'm going to do is use this configuration. I'm going to use a figure 6 configuration of tool rest. Now, no matter where I go, I can have this. That's all what I'm saying. I can put this inside. You see that? Where it can go inside. And then you're not hanging way over a tool rest, right? You can move your support so that it stays along the edges, and it eliminates this vibration of the hollow form. So let me I can go on down in here, right? Let's just say I go down in here like this, right? Guess what? Now I'm only, an inch and a half away from the edge when I'm down in here. It eliminates this reverberation. And you can simply, I've had this one welded up for $10, So what you're doing is you're making like a number 6 figure so that, if you want to go down and follow that all around, you can. Very safe. You're just going to make a figure 6. You're going to put a gusset in it and do your 1-inch tool post. Or if you have a mini lathe, you can do a 5/8 tool post, right? And make a little figure 6, and it'll do the same thing. It'll go down inside the little hollow form. Very, very, very safe. And if you have a handheld situation, then guess what? You don't have to worry about going below center. Very, very handy. Any questions on that? Mark, what if I have a real deep vase or something? Okay, so now what I have here is I have a long bar that comes up at a right angle, has a gusset in it, then it extends out, right, and then it makes a right angle bend to the right. So if I'm doing like bata drums or, something like, let me get this over the hole here, just a second. So now I can go way down in to these forms here. Let me get this. This hole is not quite big enough, but you can take it down in there in these big forms and go way down in, right? So now when I have my hollowing system in there, right, I can have, 12 inches down in there. I'm not hanging over the tool rest. So I have almost 0 vibration. Very safe, very safe. Anybody have any questions on these interior tool rests to support your hollowing systems, either hand tools, right? Like if you're going down in there and you're way back here, you got so much of this stuff you can't stand it. You put that support down in there, and now you're close. You got a much better chance on a hand tool. Okay, we're gonna do one other thing.
I like the idea. I mean, you're right.
Mark, do you find a local person that welds and design it yourself, or how does that work?
Just go to go to a local car repair place or machine shop or whatever, and all you're doing. I mean, how simple is this? That's a 1-inch bar. I had a triangle gusset in it, right? And then it goes down and it bends that way so I can come across the bottom of big bowls and things like that. I can get right down in there. But I do a lot of things where I've got to go way down in with my hollowing system. And this gives me the support.
Very cool. Thank you.
Okay, now on small objects, right? I'm going to see if I can get this. I'm going to get my camera right over this. Let me get a. Now, when I'm hollowing out small things, right, what I do is I go in and I go over the top. See, I'm 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom of the ball. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then what I would do, get my pen. So when I'm doing ornaments and stuff, right, I'm going to go over the hole, center the tool on the hole, go to where it's 1/8 of an inch. Let me just, I should do that. Right? Let me just do this. I'll set it on there, and then I can hold this. Okay, I put it over the top. And there's as deep as I can go, so I still have a wall. And I make a line. And then I take the tip, I center the tool on the hole, so I've got a hole drilled in it. Then I take the tip about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Let me just do this. And this is before it's hollowed. And then I draw that line across the front of the hole. So I know that as I go in and I hollow by hand, right, I can't go any deeper than this. And when this angle is lined up with the front of that ball, I'm 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of my little form. So that's all I need to do little ornament forms and things like that. And again, you do this off of a box rest. You're using a flat tool with the cutting tip inside the left so there's no torque. Now, if you want to get fancy, these grooves on this handle, I can attach a little laser up here and I can have it laser controlled. And it's real quick. It's all just by hand.
What, Billy? You
Cool.
laughing about?
No, that was cool.
It's very clever.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so now what we want to try to do when we have this tool down in here, now I use a laser. I'll just switch this around. That's my, let me take it out of here just a second. Yeah, that's my gizmo hollowing system, right? And then you can put any size. This is a 3/4 here. You can put any tool in there, any size. You can just make a 3/4 little collar, stick it in there, and use smaller hollowing tools and all that. But using these little curved inside box rests and all that, it is unbelievably safe. And another thing that you want to do, I've got these steady rests here. I cut this in half with a bandsaw today so that I could show you guys. But when you set up your steady rest, always have the wheels on the downward slope. That holds it in. Everybody understand that? We don't put it at the high point. We don't put it back here.
Right.
Because that way it can squeeze out. We always put it past the high point and put your wheels here, and it'll just won't come out. If you have any big form, always put the steady rest on. So anytime that anybody goes to tell you to do ornaments or little hollow forms or little boxes, just remember, right? This is not safe because you have to physically fight the tool. Always take that, make some type of rest that will eliminate you from ever having that tool go below center. And then get inside your hollow form as far as you can. To see, if I go in here 6 or 7 inches on that, guess what? This thing is like a raging devil. It wants to go up and down. The other thing that you can do, which I have over here, is I have a 1-inch square bar that's 30 inches long. So if I need to go down into these big drums and stuff, a square bar does not have near the vibration as a round bar. And then you can just put any type of tip that you want in there, an adapter. Any questions on box rests and tool rests for hollowing?
I see box rest making in my future.
Well,
Big
I want
time.
to.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, number one,
I'm ordering one now.
I want to thank Jay Sawyer out in Lincoln, Arkansas. He sent me this real nice phone holder for this demo tonight. Thank you, Jay. And he does a lot of these beer koozies.
You're very welcome.
And he, when he finally got his box rest, right, it's just pure game changer, you know. But anyway, if anybody ever has any questions, call me. I'm here. I've got all kinds of connections, and I hope cutting this thing in half, you could see what was going on in here. That you can get as close as you can to the wall with your tool rest and get rid of this thing for going way down in things. It will save you time. It's increased safety, and it makes hollowing so easy and so safe. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. That was
Thank
quick
you, Mark.
demonstration, sir.
Mark?
Thanks,
Yes.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
What?
Very, very nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Real
Who had
quick
it?
question, Mark, if you could.
Okay.
With when you've got one of those rests down in a hollow form like that, does it make it tougher to get your shavings out of that hollow form?
Yes, if you hollow for a half an hour, you may not get it out. But you know, about every minute or so, just either blow it out or scoop it out.
Okay. Do you find you need to pull your rest out to do that, or can it stay in there?
It stays in there. I just blow it out.
Okay.
Just turn down your RPMs. When you go to blow something out, turn it down as slow as it'll go, right? And the more shavings that come out. If you keep it spinning fast, then the centrifugal force keeps the shavings inside.
Sure.
And if you're looking for a non-compressor way to do it, a piece of aquarium air hose or pump hose works really good. It's very flexible, and they have with the, now I want to say armor plating, but they have the mesh around them, so they hold up pretty good. But and why, if you're using that tube, you'll find out, don't set it anywhere where it's warm. It quits being a tube really quick. So, all right, thanks again, sir. We appreciate your input tonight. We have had good demonstration, and I want to mention that members, if you're interested in doing a demonstration for us, if you want to counter this demonstration, if you have an idea, if you have a money saver, a time saver, a safety idea, this is your club. Please share it with us. Please come on forward and tell us all about it. We'd want to know. I want to caution you. Brenda asked, can you have one made? Yes, you can. You can have one made. I've got a couple, and I've got them for my mini lathe and for my stronghold right back here. But I welded them. I'm a welder, and I did them with a full penetration weld, gapping them out, cleaning them up, and all that. And if you want to make your own, if you're using a stick welder and you can just bubblegum stick together a couple of pieces, don't do that. You need a good quality weld. If you don't like it, grind it out and start over again. Anything less, you're just adding a piece of metal that can come loose, and it's going to be spinning around, and you got another piece of metal holding it. And if you want to see the movie, it's pretty disgusting. But if you're going to make one, be careful. There used to be a guy out of Florida that was making them. I'd have to find his name. But if you told him what model lathe you would turn, and I mean a model, yeah, everything. Not 3520C. 3520C made in 1 year because the height of the banjo can vary. You tell him that, he had the whole list. He went right through them. But when you do order one, make sure you talk to somebody and you get one that fits your machine. All right, we're still taking gallery here. If you want something to show, if you have something to show, just jump right in. Put it in the chat. I have something to show, and we'll get there. We got a lot of thanks from Mark. We tease with Mark about being old and grumpy and some of the things he does. You know, friends can tease friends. And as I started with this, he teaches in a different way. He's got a different method. And what he is showing you is how to eliminate sanding and grinding and all this and fighting by taking slices. What he showed you tonight is how he's taking slices inside of a turning piece. Think about it, practice it with that tool, and if you take that turning tool and go on the outside of a piece, okay? I'm crazy. Go on the outside of a piece. Watch how it cuts. But watch how it cuts at 1 RPM. 1 RPM. All you're doing after that is multiplying the cut. But if you don't say, well, how am I going to know this? You're watching the cutter. Do what the cutter does. If it's plowing and tearing material out, you don't want that. That's below center. That's out of the range of the tool. Raise it until it's right. And I don't like those clamps on the tool rest and all that stuff. Put a storyline on your tool rest, so when you put it in, you have an idea where to go and then check it. But when you're seeing it slice and you multiply that slice, that's when you're going to get good cutting. Same thing if you're using your fingernail gouge, your bowl gouge, your roughing gouge, your skew. Slow speed for a slice is a slice. Bottom line. Thank you, Mark. Really great tonight. And, you know, we're talking about a few things. We're throwing some terms out there tonight. Worldwide Wood Turners is developing a glossary of wood turning terms. Say that 3 times fast. But we're developing a glossary. So if you'd like to be part of this, describe something you have in your shop. Now, as Mark just showed us, a box scraper. What in the hell is a box scraper? Well, that'd be one something we want to explain in the glossary. So write up a description of it, send it to us, put it in our contact on our website, and we will add that to our glossary we're developing. Also, our club has got the world's largest and greatest event list. I see 4 or 5 people put up on here tonight that they're teaching IRDs, free RDs, lessons, workshops, craft shows, etc., dealing with wood turning. Our chat is the place to put that. Put it in our chat. Before you leave tonight, save the chat. But that chat will go to our website in case you need to back it up a little bit. But we have an event list, and we want to grow that list. Everything involving wood turning can be on that list, and we'd like to have it there. So please add your stuff. And I don't see the sergeant here. I see Jim Selby here. But we are still collecting ink pens for the Freedom Pen Project. And this is Worldwide Wood Turners version of the Freedom Pen Project. we don't have any rules. We don't have any restrictions. If you want to make a bunch of kitless pens that use a Bic refill for ink, that's fine. That's acceptable. Doesn't have to be a click pen. If you want to make them out of corian, make them out of corian. You want to make them a little bit longer, fine. It's all up to you. You're giving a gift to somebody protecting your freedom. Boom. That's it. Names and address where you can send those kits. Those pens are on our website. Get involved with Freedom Pens. Turn a couple. I got some beautiful work in this week. I thought Ronnie would be with us to tell us who did the pens. Apparently, I bumped them out a few minutes ago. But we like to keep pushing that. And don't forget the 22 pen project that was presented to us. 22 veterans. 22 veterans take their life every day. That's a terrible number. It's a terrible, it's just bad. 22 pens. If you get us the 22 pens and make it for that project, we will get it in the hands of veterans who have got some problems, and we want to help them through their problems. And don't sit for letter combination, all that stuff. No, some have problems and they just need a little help. So we'll get involved. We're going to go back to gallery right now. And if you'd like to show something, put it in a gallery. Brenda will call on you. Scott Hampton jumped in here a minute ago and said the robust rest has got a pin at the end that allows for extra support in steering. Hey, my wife could use that steering help. And it's at robust. I like the robust people. Brent and folks do a good job. All this is in our chat. If you'd like to see it, well, read it. You can save it. Just go to the bottom corner, 3 dots, hit it, say save chat. Oh, did I mention we don't have a membership list? I mentioned we don't have a financial report. We don't have finances. We don't have a membership list because we're not that organized to do that. And why? Everybody's invited. But if you want to be on our contact list, that's a little bit different. This is voluntary, no requirements, no restrictions. All you have to do is put the information you like to have in our contact list in chat. You can start with contact list, then put Mark Sillay and my phone number, my website, my email, whatever you want. Put it in there. We'll add it to our contact list. How do I get a copy of that list? You go to our website under contact, you see member list or contact list, and you click on it, you fill out the form, just as it says. The subject is going to be Captain, capital C-A-P-T-A-I-N, Captain. Make sure you put the message in, make sure you unclick the box, boom, you will be emailed the list. Like I said, you got to follow the directions because we don't want to give it to bots. If we do it any other way, the live list and put it on the line, the bots will get it. Then you get tons of garbage every day. Who's got something for gallery tonight? Pop in. Let's go.
Yep, there's nobody on the list right now. Anybody got anything to show?
Can't believe that.
I know.
Billy Bird asked Mark, is that rest a quarter inch? Only the rest I have like that, they're 3/8 inch thick. I found my quarter had some bounce even with the gusset. But a short quarter will probably work. If you have room and you can do it, the 3/8 will work. And remember, the width is determined by what you want to do with it. It's not that it's got to be 1.5 inches wide or 1.25 inches wide or 3/4 wide. It determines on how much rest you have. And if when you want to determine it, here's the thing: get a piece of graph paper out, draw the piece you want to turn, put the line for the inside, put the hole, and then take your tool. Get this: lay your tool on top of the piece of graph paper and see what reach you have, where it's got to turn, how it's got to go in, and where do you need support. You figure it out on a graph paper before you even get started. And that'll keep you from saying, oh God, how did I figure this out? How did I get in here, get in there? The best hollowing demo I've ever seen was done by a fellow out of Houma, Louisiana, or Gray, Louisiana, named Johnny Barrios. Johnny is a really good turner, and he did a demonstration one time with a piece. He turned it, and he hollowed it somewhat. Then he cut a big hole in the side of it. Yeah, right. Sliced the piece right off. And then he had a light on his tool, and he went in with that light on that tool. We turned the lights out in the room. You watched his tool do the cutting. He was going through, we figured out his marks and his line. We could see it on camera. We could see what he did. Excellent demonstration. Thank you, Johnny.
Nice.
It's really good.
Susan, you got something else to show now?
Who?
Susan.
Yeah,
Susan.
let me tell you what happened today.
Oh, she's got a story to tell.
Oh yeah.
No Band-Aids?
I decided to use some scraps. So I'm going to make a one-piece pen out of this. It's got 3 different veneers on there. It's white, green, white, red, white, green, white. And it didn't blow up. I'm so happy. So then I decided to try littler ones, and I was going to make a slimline pen. This was going to be the top of the slimline. A piece of it blew out, but I'm not deterred. I'm going to try another one. The veneer in this is maple. But,
wow.
What tool are you using when it blew out? Give us a no.
A drill press. Drill your holes first. Don't glue it up and then try to drill it. Use the drill first. The bottom of the pen completely fell apart on me. There's part of it. I'm missing pieces. They're in the shop somewhere. So yeah.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. Exactly.
So Susan, you know that can be
gorgeous.
I just show you what I was doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We like that, that's the no. Now, I was joking with her about the no. I'm really not joking about that. If you can share an idea or a tip or a trick or tell us what just not to do, that's as important as sharing what you can do. And pardon me, that's where tips and tricks came from. If you have an idea how to do something, share it. Safe, economic, whatever. Tonight we've seen a couple of folks. I think Scott Hampton showed us a couple of pieces, and he's going to put a spray coat of spar varnish on it because it's going to be going outside. And we had a couple of questions about that. This finish, that finish, and stuff. I was telling Scott earlier, there's a birdhouse hanging on my front tree. It's not really a birdhouse. It looks like a birdhouse. I filled in the hole so birds can't get in it. I'm not a Bob Moffat. But I have a birdhouse hanging out there. It's been hanging in that tree for about 10 years now. The roof has got some fungal growth on it, which makes it look really cool. But everything else, it's segmented now. Everything else is holding up great. And I have a spar varnish finish on it. And you'll never talk me out of using spar varnish on something that sees the light or the weather. Remember I said the light or the weather? Some spar varnishes, and most of them, have a UV resistant in them. And you need to see that on a label. It's not that I don't trust that guy at the hardware store. I want to see it in black and white. We talked about events. Scott Hampton just added that he's got some events on his YouTube channel. He's got about a dozen how-to videos. If you want to see these items, tune in. Scott's done demonstrations for us 5 or 6 times.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's nobody that's got anything else to share, is there anybody that is maybe in their shop that they've got a maybe give us a tour through their shop, and maybe we can pick up some tips or tricks or anything like that?
I'm not in my shop, but I've got a tip.
Well, let's go to Willie.
I'm just getting home, so I have some stuff to show
Okay.
when I
Okay.
get downstairs.
This is in answer or not an answer, but along with Susan's glue up that she did with veneers. When I want to use veneers with acrylic pieces to make pens out of, what I use for the veneer is old credit cards. I not just an old credit card, but even the plastic ones that the fake ones that they send you in the mail. I've collected throughout the years and just sand them up a little bit on each side and glue them in between your pieces of acrylic or resin or whatever it is you're gluing together, and they end up working really, really nice. Something else that you can get, and you can get it from, I think Grizzly carries them still. Any number of places do. They make 2 and 3 ply guitar pick protectors for guitars. You can buy them in like 11 by 12. I mean, 10 by 12 sheets or 8 by 12 sheets, and they're 2 and 3 ply thick, and they have multiple colors in them. You can get white, black, black, etc. And those things make really nice veneers inside pens as well.
Sure. And that works good if you can laminate them and cut through them for an accent piece for the top of a jar or a box. And it's almost cheating. Billy, you said about the credit cards, they come in about 10 different colors. So, if you collect those things, everybody gets them in the mail. Collect those things, they work really good. Remember, Billy just now said rough them up a little bit, scuff them up a little. They won't bond unless you do that. And if you don't play with it, and you can get some samples of corian. And really, corian only comes, I've gotten it thick one time, but it normally comes in 1/2-inch sheets. This pen I'm holding right here has got a joint in it. The guy took 2 1/2-inch pieces, water lapped them to get them dead flat, glued them together, and then drilled them, tubed them, and turned them as one piece. Now let's play with this a little bit. Let's put one of those.
I made some cigar pens from corian, and that's exactly how I did it, Eddie. Is I glued them up.
Yeah, I've turned a bunch of pens from corian.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about it, I've got some red, white, and blue corian that you can heat it up and it'll bend. And what I did is I heated them up a little bit, the red, white, and blue. And before I glued them up, I put them together and I twisted them, and I let them set that way and cool. And then I glued them together, and it was amazing.
Cool.
And if you're looking for a source for corian, I check Home Depot for free samples. I didn't say that.
Speaking of which, big box hardware store. Speaking of which, they also have in the cabinet places, they have those, those acrylic samplers, and those are real thin. And we've shown how you can use those to burn lines into the wood, but you can also use them as inserts.
Yeah, I had a couple of different. I wedged them or pointed them, sort of like a fat skew, for burning lines, and boy, it worked great. I like my own wire burners, but if you're doing something,
well, yeah, if you turn an accent ring in the bottom of a bowl or something and you want to burn it in, it's hard to do that with a wire burner. So that's what I use my my laminate top for. I go get samples at any of the big box stores and just stick that in and let it heat up enough, and it'll burn right nice.
Yeah, and somebody said they don't have Formica samples anymore at the HD. No, corian samples. Corian. And the HD near us subcontracts their counters. They'll show you pictures of the finishes. and stuff. So it may be a little bit harder, but coriander's still a popular item in the market. I'm working on where you can ask or order for samples. If you have that, I'd like you to share it with us. It's a way to improve our turning. And I showed you a pen made out of it, but I've got probably 25 pieces in my own gallery of where I've used a piece of coriander for the lid, the accent, the cap, the base, the legs, and don't be afraid of it. Now, I am a fan of coriander. I'm not a fan of some of the other brands. They tend to be a little bit softer. They say don't scratch as easy, yes, but softer and turning doesn't always work out right. So be careful when you put a big investment in it of what you have. Ron Vincent, Wyoming's got something to show Brenda. Can we pop into Ron Vincent?
Yep.
There he is.
I was ready for him.
All right. Let me get this thing off the middle of the screen. It's actually a bowl in progress.
Oh my goodness.
It's 14-inch diameter at the top and 8 at the bottom, and 7 3/4 inch tall. It's all walnut, all
Holy
pieces.
crap.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
That's
Friend
That's
of
a
mine-
big bowl.
Well, a friend of mine asked for a fruit bowl. She wanted to put oranges in it in Texas, so it's like, okay, whatever.
Goodness.
So she asked for the size. So
That's almost as big as a laundry basket.
it's getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also have a candy basket here. As you can see, it's full of candy. And it's actually spalted maple.
Ooh,
That's spalted maple?
Yeah.
love it.
Very nice.
Nice.
Nice
And
finish.
the wife has to keep me into candy, so.
Nice. I'll take that Reese cup on the top right there.
I'll take a payday, thanks.
What do you use for the finish?
Well, the spalted maple has polyurethane on it. The walnut is lacquer.
That is awesome.
That
Very nice.
candy bowl is gorgeous. Thank you so much, Ron.
Yes.
You're welcome.
All
Hey,
right.
let's go to Cade and see what Cade's up to.
Sure.
Kate,
Hi, everyone. I hope all
Yeah.
is well. I've been busy. I don't think I've been on for maybe 2 or 3 weeks ever since Martin's turnathon. I got sick after and had COVID.
Oh,
And
no.
then I had to, after the days off recovering from COVID, I had to catch up on all my orders, classes, and commissions. So it's been busy. So I have a few things to show if we have time. A variety of different things. So a while back, Lan did a demonstration on doing a scoop. And then I did a variation of, I showed a couple accents of doing multi-axis turning. Dane did one with multi-axis turning, and that intrigued me to do one as well. So I think I showed the crabapple one I did with the purple heart pummel on the end. But in Martin's meeting, the turnathon, I turned a scoop for the audience. So my warm-up for that was this small one out of walnut, which was turned out of a 2x2 square, and it is 4 inches long when I started. And here is the multi-axis turning portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So that was one of them for a warm-up. And then the other one I did was out of ash. Now this was a 2x2 that was 5 inches long. And here's the little scoop. And as I turn it, you'll see the twist and the turning of the multi-axis
Oh, wow.
spindle. And I really like doing the multi-axis stuff because as that wood really whips around on you, it's an adrenaline rush, but don't stand in the line of fire just in case that comes off, okay? Now, the one I did in the demonstration was this one out of red oak. And I started with a 2x2 square, and this one is 6 inches long. And as I turn it, we can see the twist and the variations of the multi-axis turning.
That is nice.
That is nice.
Yes, I love those handles.
Very cool.
And it's a variation of half V beads, half round beads, coves, and with the multi-access, you get all these many different designs. Now they're quite fun to do, and a lot of it is trial and error. Just mount it one way and see how it comes out. So it's fun. Another thing, I may have showed this a few months ago, but I got it all done. I got it shined up and I got it engraved for the customer. So this is a urn I made out of curly poplar. It's finely engraved. The body of the urn is, yep, curly poplar. The lid is wenge, and the finial is carigana, which is a wood that's not commercially available, but I have an abundance of it on the family cattle ranch we have out west. So I harvest a lot of this wood for my eternal flame finials. Now the sapwood is this bright, bright yellow, and the heartwood is the purple, reds, and browns.
Really
So
pretty.
it's really a quite drastic color contrast. And there's the lid. You can see yourself in it, shaving it. So I shave.
Yeah. I think you missed the spot.
Well, it's already grown in. I think that's the 5 o'clock shadow. But so that's an urn I did. Now, a couple weeks ago, I asked all the Englishmen or all our members from the UK on how to sort of acquire a English brown oak color, because I had a customer who wanted an urn and they wanted English brown oak, but over here in North America, it's hard to get and it would be a fortune to ship it over, and lumber yards over here don't have it. Now, it's not actually a species of brown oak. It's a fungus that makes the wood brown with spalted coloration in between it of different tones of brown and white streaks. So I did a double dye. I actually did a triple dye on the body to get the variations in the color. Now, it's not quite shined up yet, but the first dye I put on here, you could see lighter brown, darker brown, and then streaks of almost colored spalting. And that's just the different layers of color as it was put onto the urn. So my first coat was English oak. I sanded that back and I applied roasted pecan. I sanded that back and I applied pecan. And now I have those variations in the brown that make it look like it has spalted and had the English brown oak fungus. So that's the body of the urn. It's laminated together. It's 4 pieces of red oak, and the customer is happy and I'm happy because we both saved money on getting traditional English brown oak. And it looks just like English brown oak, I have been told by my English, Irish, and Scottish friends. Now,
Nice.
thank you. I did a lid for this piece, and the lid I did was out of bird's eye maple. Okay, so that's the inside. Here's the top side. Here's the eternal flame finial I make out of carigana. Now, when I made the lid, I had a design opportunity because I was thinking about other things. I had other things on my mind. So I actually went too small. And I was like, oh no, I can't be wasting this bird's eye maple. It's so expensive. Plus, especially with the cost of lumber going through the roof with the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. So this is the piece as a whole. It's the red oak laminated together with the lid, with the finial, and that will be laser engraved with his wife's name and whatnot. So once I have that done, shined up and engraved, I'll show that. But at the same time, I had a order for a pet urn. So I figure I'm going to save the design opportunity lid I made for that urn, I remounted a new piece of bird's eye maple to create the lid for the English oak urn. And I was much more careful about getting that connection precise for the box fit of the lid and the hollow form. So I saved that lid. And this is the pet urn out of black walnut. And the lid is the bird's eye maple that I salvaged from the other urn. I have not made the finial yet, but I have started the process of finishing the piece to the point where we'll see ourselves in it. And they're all turned to 1/8 of an inch wall thickness. And I do a double lip for when the lids are glued on. It really adheres to that lip of the urn. So you can thread them, you can screw them on, or you glue them. I tend to glue them, okay? So that's the pet urn. Last Tuesday, I had a demonstration for a club, and I did one of my signature boxes I make. So this was the warm-up before the demonstration, just to get that muscle memory down. And this one is made out of tulip poplar, but it is dyed black, okay? The lid is also tulip poplar, and it is dyed black. Now the finial is spalted maple. And the spalted maple I used because it's almost like the black from the body and the lid of the box is creeping up into the finial like a spider web. So I thought that was pretty cool for the color contrast. The flame on top, I did a double dye technique with red and yellow to give it the flame. With the spalting comes through because the dyes are transparent. So that was my warm-up piece for my live demonstration, okay? Now the one I turned in the demonstration. Thank you. I love doing these boxes. And those feet are solid. They're attached. They're not glued on. Okay? Wow. So the one I turned in the live demonstration is this one. And I decided not to color the body, but I colored the feet. I colored the top ring for contrast, but also to frame in the overall box, okay? And the finial, when I did the demonstration, I had 2 boxes. I had one with this style finial and one with this style finial. And I gave the group the choice of which finial they would like to see. And they chose the round ball finial with the shape and the taper from the connection. So I thought, okay, I'll go with that. So I used the spalted maple piece I had left over from this finial. And overall, it was a spalted maple pen blank. So I cut this in 3/4 and this in 1/4 length for the 2 finials. And to the black ring and the black feet. Now, again, they're not glued on. They're all solid in the piece. And they're painted and colored and dyed. So you have to have a steady hand to get those straight lines. The bead is turned in end grain, which is not easy to do. It's not even easy to do a perfect bead in a spindle orientation, let alone end grain, but it's fun to do, and I like doing these style of boxes. And then there is the inside. Now the wall thickness is probably 3/32, just under 1/8 of an inch. So I thought this one, yep.
It's amazing, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks.
That spindle, that ball spindle top, did you make that with the skew then?
No, I did that with a spindle gouge. You would never want to do skew cuts into end grain with a toe or a heel because of the centrifugal force of
I
the
just figured
lathe.
as good as you are with the skew.
I know. I still wouldn't do it in end grain just because of the orientation and the grain. If you get to catch an end grain, it's a lot more violent than side grain, especially with the skew. So it's all about the grain. But I did that with a spindle gouge, a detail spindle gouge, and it was the exact same. We start at the center and we run around the bead. So in fact, we're actually cutting uphill. So you have to make sure you're riding that bevel, slicing cuts, and presenting the tool correctly. Otherwise, it will be a very violent catch, and your lid will go flying across the room. So, but they're fun to do. I like the challenge and the adrenaline rush. So so that's the boxes I did. On the weekend, I had a demonstration. I did a wide rim platter. So my warm-up pieces right before my demonstration was this one. Now this one is made out of cherry. I started and finished sanding with 240. And the outside, again, straight off the tool, start and stop standing with 340. I like doing a foot because I like the elevation of platters and bowls. You can see the full shape and the curve of the piece rather than it just going into the table. But also another benefit of having feet, if you make a bowl, is you have that extra little 16th or 1/8 of an inch before you make a funnel. Now, the difference between a bowl and a platter or a plate, a bowl is curved across the bottom. A plate or a platter is curved and flat across the bottom. A bowl is normally wider than it is tall, but that's not the case in all bowls. Some bowls are deeper than they are wide, but for a platter and a plate, they are always wider than they are tall. And the inside of a bowl and a platter, you can always see the face and the inside of the plate in the bowl. Whereas a hollow form, it's undercut and you can't see the full face of the plate, bowl, or platter. So that was a warm-up piece I did right before my demo. It had a nice bark inclusion here. I left just for contrast. Now I love making these because with this wide rim, it's a fantastic canvas to embellish, to carve, to texture, to pyrograph, to inlay. So I also did another one. My warm-up, I did 2 of these right before my demonstration. So this is the other one I did in cherry. Here is the side profile and the bottom profile. Now the cherry ones, I will be embellishing the rim. As nice as cherry is, I find it's kind of boring and plain. So I embellish the rim. But not always. Some people don't like embellishing and like just round and brown, and that's okay. So I gave them the choice. I had a piece of 11-inch cherry that they could choose from, which has sapwood in it. And I like doing these where I have a sapwood color contrast in the rim. So I had an 11-inch blank, and I also had a 10-inch blank of olive ash. And I allowed the audience to choose which they wanted me to turn. They chose the olive ash. So this is the piece I turned in my live demonstration.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
Yes. I love
Very
that.
nice.
So there's the wood grain of that olive ash coming around the edge.
Gorgeous.
And here's the base. So with this wood grain being so nice and spectacular, I think the wide rim is going to speak for itself. I'm not going to embellish this one, but the cherry I will embellish with, I haven't decided yet if it's going to be airbrushed, dry brushed, pyrographied, inlaid, textured, carved, or or a mixture of all of those. but this one is definitely going to speak for itself. And that is straight off the tool, sanded with 240 and finished at 240. That only has 2 coats of my tung oil finish on it. So it's not quite shiny yet, but it's starting to get a sheen. And
Hello, how you doing?
Pardon? Pardon? Was there a question?
I think it was outside noise.
Okay, no problem. And last but not least, I do custom canes. Before I got into turning, I did a lot of custom canes and carvings. But I found in North America with carving, everybody wants stuff made in North America, but they want an offshore price. It's hard to make a living just carving. So that's when I wanted to learn and get into using the lathe, because you can make and finish 1, 2, or multiple items in a day. If you're a production turner, you can make 100 or 200 things in a day, which really brings up your livable wage. But I still offer custom canes. It's just a longer waiting list, and I don't give them a deadline to when it's going to be finished. I give them a ballpark because I already have a full wood turning business of my own, so I can't be consumed with just carving. But the carving of the cane or the staff I did another one a few months ago. I actually have pictures. I'll have to send those in because the cane has already gone to the customer. But this is one I made for a lady, and I used a stag head for the top. Now, this is a walking staff. It's not necessarily a cane because that wouldn't be comfortable to use as a cane handle. All those high points would hit the pressure points and soft tissues in your hand, causing discomfort or injury over time. Now, the significance with this cane is the stag head is silver-plated metal. And this was a trophy for her dog. Now, she used to have a dog. I believe it was like a Irish settler or an Irish hound. And it competed in competitions of herding and different things. So this was a trophy that the dog had won, and the dog had actually passed since. So she wanted something to commemorate and remember her dog, both as a functional walking staff, but also as a keepsake of her lovable competing dog. So the ferrule is seamless aluminum that was cut, turned, and polished and shined up on my lathe. It is laser engraved with the dog's name and the death date. And the shaft is all black walnut. I have a ferrule for the connection where I connected the 2 pieces together. Now this is drilled probably 4 inches, drilled 4 inches, and I have a rebar that connects the 2 and are epoxied together with a ferrule. So it's not going to break. And it is figured black walnut.
Oh,
it
beautiful.
is shiny enough that we can see ourselves in it. Now, she wanted a walking staff, but she also wanted something that she could protect herself with, whether it's against a dog or a coyote or a small bear or a fox or something, right? Because she goes for walks in the conservation areas. And sometimes she's walking through the conservation area. She wanted a staff to check the ground in front of her so she wouldn't fall. But also sometimes walking through these conservation areas, you come around a corner and there's someone walking their dog off leash. Now, she said sometimes these people have like bulldogs and bull mastiffs and pit bulls and Rottweilers and German shepherds. And these dogs come running at her, which is pretty nerve-wracking. Eventually, they listen to the owner and stop, but she is very nervous and scared about the whole situation. So she also wanted something that she could use to potentially protect herself if she ever needed to. So that is a staff and a cane, a staff that I am delivering on Friday. And that is
Beautiful.
it. That's it for me. So
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you a lot, sir. Beautiful work. Give Cash a hug for us.
I will. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, very nice, Cade.
Yeah, that's beautiful work, Kate.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and the lady said she needs something to defend herself with. I don't need a cane anymore personally, but a walking stick helps me with balance. But my walking stick is there because if you get in my way, I'm going to hit you. Bottom line, I'm going to hit you. And if I'm crossing the street in a crosswalk and you blow your horn at me, you won't do it 2 times. We might be in the dirt out there, but you have to have respect for people who have disabilities or problems or whatever. You have to have respect. That's the important part. In our chat tonight, the chat's open right now. I see somebody. We were talking about turning with corian.
Oh,
and
I have something on that topic.
Sure, go ahead.
I just remembered, sorry to interrupt, but I remembered you were asking about sources for corian. So if you know anybody or have friends or family that knows anybody that does kitchens, friend them. Be their friend, be their buddy, because when they do kitchens and they do corian countertops, they always cut out a big hole for the sink and they just throw that away. So they would happily give it to someone who would use it. Even their offcuts they give away. So I have a couple friends or friends of friends or acquaintances who know people who do kitchens and cabinetry, and that's where I get all my corian. So there's a tip for y'all.
And I used to do that. A guy that was my apprentice for years opened up his own corian place, and I went there to see if I could mooch some pieces, and he said, bring a trailer. And I must have went there 10 times with my 4x8 trailer, and they would load all the rips. See, the sheets come larger than 4x8s. And they'd load all the rips, all the cutouts, all the tabs. They didn't have to pay to get it hauled off, and they didn't dicker with anybody. And I'd bring it back to the club and just park the trailer. Here, take it. When I got ill, the family thought that big pile of stuff out there was scrap. It wasn't there when I got back. We're talking about doing corian, and someone mentioned about turning it, and who turns it. If you have been to SWAT or know of the South Texas Turners, that's not the name of a club, it's just area. Andy Chen, Chen, is known for turning corian, known for his art with corian. And if you've seen his work, it's not turning, it's art. I know Joaquin's in the house and he wants to show us something. Joaquin,
Yes, sir.
All right, we got to go to Joaquin.
Okay, here I am.
Right, I gotta find him again.
Okay.
I was ready to go to Tim.
As he's dusting his butt off.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey,
Hey Tim, let's.
Okay.
All right.
I shared with y'all last week.
Wait a
Shared with
minute.
y'all last
Hey, Tim?
week. I had an order for Christmas trees. Well, I'm still doing Christmas trees. This is a Texas ebony one that
gorgeous.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
added to the collection.
That is pretty.
Yeah.
Did the wife claim that one?
Yeah, she did. In fact, that's part of an order I'm supposed to do, but she said, no, that one's not going. It's staying here.
Right.
Joaquin, I love the cross on the top.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Joaquin says that's not part of the order. I'll give you my address to ship it to you.
Right.
But also, we had a club challenge of doing the pedestal, the mortar and pestle, and this is Texas ebony also.
Oh, nice.
I wonder if the grain is
beautiful material.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful color contrast too.
Yes.
And it's so slick. It doesn't really grind, but it does crush really good. It's heavy and thick. And that'll go to my son. He likes to cook. So it turned out pretty well.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it did.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And also, Terry Reynolds and I did a demo at the club doing a deep hollowing. he's got the John Jordan handset, and I got the Jameson, and I borrowed a guy's Trent Bosch, and this was a vase that we did.
Ooh.
This is that one, Kate, I showed you how I cut
Cool.
the 5 points on it, the pendulum.
Yeah.
And so, but it was just plain Jane, you know. And I've got a friend that likes to do illusions. And so this has got 47 bead rows, and it's like indexed at 48 indexing. There's 2,256 little squares on this thing.
Oh my goodness.
That I'm done. I'm just gonna hand this over to him and he can finish it up.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's going to be really cool.
Nice, nice.
And
Always
that's all I
love your
got.
work. Love
Thank
your
you
work,
very much.
Joaquin.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go to Tim Hatch then.
Now you're up, Tim.
Hey, good evening.
Put down your dust mop. Come on.
Sawdust is man glitter.
And glitter.
So I finished up that bowl that I showed you all the other, a couple of weeks ago. Of course, I've been out of the shop for about
Yeah.
two and a half weeks, so I haven't been in to turn off the tenon yet. But I was using this stuff. Not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Me neither.
You know, I read the instructions, followed the instructions. It did not turn out well, so I ended up rough sanding it one more time. Took it down to about 220, and took it back up to 320, and then I just used Clear Def on it, and that made it pop. That pretty much solved the problem on everything I was having with that other finish.
I
But,
found it didn't get hard enough to work with, Tim. I used it once. I got rid of it because it just didn't seem to give me something I could work with.
It did not, and that's the probably second or third time I've tried that finish, and to me it's just it's not going to be in my shop anymore.
Let's see that bowl again, Tim.
The bowl. So,
yeah, see that again. Look at that.
So it's got the little gold and turquoise inlay with some deep pore resin and all those bug holes.
Beautiful.
Actually, the voids and stuff. And then I did keep a bark inclusion in there. And
that's
so
nice.
I think the finish came out pretty good. I mean, it could be a little better, but I had, with the burl, you've got the soft spots, the hard spots, the missing, the bark inclusions, all that other stuff. So it was interesting to turn for sure. Hopefully I'll get back in the shop this week and next week, and then pop and smoke for Memorial Day weekend, taking the wife camp, because we haven't been together for a while. So it's time for us to get out and do some stuff. Maybe I'll find.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Beautiful work. Great idea. Good tips. And
Let's go to Glenn.
Glenn Dornack. Hi, Glenn.
Yeah.
What's up?
How's it going?
What you been doing, Glenn?
Oh, I've been doing a little bit of turning, and I'm in that same club with Joaquin, and we were doing the mortise and pestle challenge, and the pestle and the mortar, they're both out of Mesquite.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
And then there's another one. This one's out of Texas Ebony.
Oh my.
That's beautiful.
I got this one from Joaquin's woodpile. And then the pestle is a piece of Texas Ebony. I glued it onto a piece of cherry.
Beautiful.
And then I was going to do the mortar, but it ended up being too long and too thin a diameter. So I just finished it up and it's going to be as a chalice. I'm going to give it to one of the priests for his anniversary.
Nice.
This one's out of Mesquite also.
Very nice.
It's gorgeous.
Nice form, Glenn.
Nice.
And then I just come in. I was I did another little, a vase out of ash.
Wow.
A little flower pot. And I turned a bunch of different, flowers out of
Yeah,
different kind of wood.
what kind of wood is that one on the right there?
Oh,
This
very
one
nice.
is, this one's Osage orange.
Okay. That
This
one.
one is, this one's cedar or juniper.
Oh yeah, looks pretty.
Very
And this
nice.
one also is out of juniper.
Juniper.
And this one's out of mesquite. And the one in the middle is out of ash. And I had turned the pot, but then I still didn't glue the insert in.
Oh,
I just
cool.
roughed out the inside and then made the insert out of walnut and just hit it with a Dremel tool just to texture it, to kind of give it the look of dirt. So
Oh,
I
that's
just
great.
wanted to glue.
That looks like that'd be a good demo.
Yeah, that's cool. A cool little hide
Yeah.
bag. You can hide stuff in there.
The demo on the texture would take about a minute.
But you know, Glenn would like to see that.
You can do the flowers then.
Flowers would be a
Go
good
on the
demo.
flower.
Yeah, flower would be good.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll have to get Joaquin over here to record for me while I'm doing it.
We can do that.
I'll have Dane get a hold of you.
Okay.
I'll do the filming while you do the turning.
All right, that sounds good.
All right.
All right, that's all I got.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn. That was real nice. I love
That's
it.
nice.
Thanks.
Now, you see us buttonholing folks to do demos.
I
We
know.
do that. Our demo master is Dane Chandler. He's on traveling right now, and Brenda's filling in for him on gallery tonight. But if we see something you do that is interesting, unique, can add to our art and our journey, we're going to sign you up. We're going to sign you up as soon as we can. If we need to get a couple in each week, we will. It's just a matter, if it deals with wood turning, we want to share it. No rules. We want to share it. Scott says the secret to a wood pestle and mortars leave the wood inside the bowl rough. Right. I made one for a world famous chef years ago, and the key thing he had was the radius, or I'm sorry, the circumference of the bowl had to match the pestle exactly. Exactly, because you don't want to smash with a point. You want to grind with the full surface. And that chef, y'all may have heard of him, his name's Paul Prudhomme.
Oh yeah.
He was a good friend of mine, and I enjoyed going down to his restaurant and doing Saturday morning radio talk things. And all I was is to on-site host, but I love watching him cook. And he'd pick up a couple of, he called them the Holy Trinity or whatever. He'd pick up 3 or 4 different spices and put them all together in there, and food would go from tasting like food to tasting like food. So, yeah. All right, we're still doing gallery tonight. I have to make a few mentions here, and I want to thank Mark Sillay for an excellent demonstration tonight. We were supposed to do a little brief thing with him to fill in the gap, and that's not what we had. We had a full class with Mark Sillay. If you want to see more of his work, look up his YouTube page. He does some awesome demonstrations. But also, a lot of our demonstrators and our guests tonight also do IRDs, interactive remote demonstrations, or whatever you want to call them. They're pay-per-views. And if you'd like to advertise yours, put it in our chat. It'll go all the way to our website. If you got something coming up, put it in the chat. If you want to share an event coming up, put in a chat. You're going to be someplace, chat. Okay, that's why we do this, is to share wood turning. Remember, we're collecting Freedom Pens. It's an important mission for us. We very much enjoy it, and we'd like to get your participation. We have more details on our website, worldwidewoodturners.org. And we also, that's where you send your, if you missed the program, say you missed the meeting, and you're catching this on a replay on our website, or watching YouTubes or whatever. But wow, I had something I wanted to share. Don't worry about it. Send it to our contact list on our website. We'll use it. We'll add it. There's no rules. It's your website. It's your wood turning club. We'll be happy to share it with you. Brenda, do we have any more gallery tonight?
Hey, Eddie, this is
Where'd he
Mark.
go?
Yes, Mark Sillay. Go ahead, Mark.
I've got somebody was talking about.
You're cutting out a little bit, Mark.
I'll give you guys. Okay, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
But your
I can hear you,
video's
Mark.
coming through.
Okay.
Now we got everything.
All right, let me just.
Well,
I'm gonna flip my camera around. I'm sitting here.
See your feet.
Okay, here's an idea, right? What you can do is you can take little veneers, right? And you can put them together, right? For these people that want to buy. This is a Georgia Bulldog bowl. It's got the college colors, right? And then you take your little tiny scraps, and guess what? You can do college colors, on a wine stopper. And the people buy it because it's their college. It's a gift, right? It's a cheap trick, but it works.
So you made
Sure
them
does.
with laminate?
Yeah, just veneer.
Veneer.
Scrap piece
Okay.
of veneer.
That can be a piece of pick guard if you get pick guard from, who's got the pick guard? Come on, help me out. Grizzly has got pick guard, and it's multiple colors. See how that ring is in there?
Yeah.
In that bowl? That's a beautiful accent piece.
So
And
I took a piece of black veneer, and then put a little thin piece of white veneer, a thin piece of red, thin piece of white, and another thicker piece of black. It's oak on top, and it's dyed ash on the bottom. Now I haven't finished it yet because I just cut it off the lid. This has got the 3408 on it. I just take this over and I take the little button off the bottom and then wipe some super glue on that, and it'll be done. But it's a great way to use scraps.
there's no such thing as scraps, it's just unturned wood.
Yep, not you.
Yep. Thank you, Mark.
So anybody can take in their local area, find out, if you're in Tennessee, make orange and white. In North Carolina, make blue and white, or what. Take your college colors, right? You can get these veneers anywhere, and put them in your pens, put them in your bottle stoppers, put them in the little bowls, put them in all this stuff. Make jewelry, earrings out of them, and things like that. And people go crazy over their local college colors.
Right.
We need to get Mark's phone number up on chat because we have a request for it. So
that's a great tip.
Yeah, it is. And don't be afraid of it. It is a simple item to turn.
Yeah, listen, Eddie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll put it on the chat. I'll put my phone number on there, and people can call me.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Okay, don't be afraid of that laminate or pick guard or formica, but formica, unless it's solid colored, but you're only going to get a couple of scraps at some places. But make friends with the countertop guys. They have also, and it's trash to some of them. But if you do it, don't be afraid of it. It turns as well as wood does. But see what Mark told us a little while ago about scraping action and coming above the center mark for doing that. If you're going to do a veneer inlay, metal inlay, brass, copper, zinc, pewter, whatever, the key to that is it must cut above center. You must, because that has to be an honest to goodness scrape. Honest to goodness. If you go below and you start gouging, you ain't going to be happy. Just how it goes. All right. We have Scott remind us about the Virtual Craft Festival this weekend. It's all day Saturday on YouTube. You want more details, the access to it is in our chat right now. Just go there and get to it. And that'd be on our events calendar. So if you like to see something like that, or if you want to share something like that, please do so right here on worldwidewoodturners.org. I'm very proud of what we're doing. Every time I talk to a new turner or a customer for my company, and I got to say, have you been to a club meeting? And I have been to a club meeting. Well, in all the packages I ship, I put a business card for worldwidewoodturners.org. Doesn't have my name on it. It's got the details and the meetings and a website and all that. I bought these business cards just to share the information on a club. If you go to our website, there is a format where you can print your own business cards. It tells you what the Avery, I think it's Avery, sheet is that you're going to have. And I did that a long time ago for another club. I printed up bunches of them, and I put my old wood turning magazines in the doctor's office. And I'd stick a card or 2 or 3 cards. Yeah, they don't have any idea where magazines come from or how new they are. Just look at them. So I'd put my wood turning magazines, my wood magazines and all, and then I'd put a little advertisement for the club. And you have to emphasize, folks, that we are free. Money doesn't change hands here. That's an important part of what we do. And we share information. So we have talked about some things coming. Oh, send me photographs for our gallery and for our newsletter and for the gallery I'll put online this week. Send in your photographs. You can send them to Worldwide Woodturners at gmail.com. It's worldwidewoodturners at gmail.com. I put up the graphic that shows it, but we bought into this T-Mobile internet thing. I ain't going to give it a lot more time. It dropped me out twice tonight. Hadn't figured out why, but I can't do my OBS system, which is really nice. I can throw in videos and all, no problem. Can't do that right now. But we're going to change that and be able to share a little more information. Oh, I'm still looking for tips and tricks. We had a couple pop in tonight. Still a lot to do that. Scott said he used to do that with magazines. All my docs has taken the magazines out of waiting rooms since COVID. Yeah, don't need a drink of water when you go to the doctor. Goodness gracious, I can't find a water cooler anywhere. And it's funny, when you get done aqua size, you're thirsty. So, all right, all the details of these events are on our chat tonight. Save the chat. Now, that's Donald's job. Donald, tell him. Donald's out there. Donald's in Australia. Donald's our Save the Chat master.
All right. Is Donald here tonight?
Donald was here earlier.
I see him.
Okay. All right. Donald said, save the chat. Donald, that's right, Donald. Right? Yeah, I can't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself, Donald.
I don't know. It's just not working for me today. I don't know why.
Donald, did you turn anything this week? Nope.
Well, is it
We have a
coming
video
out?
we can watch this.
that may work here. We've been having people sending in samples of tips and tricks, and they've been going on the website, or at least on the YouTube site. And I have an option to try to play it through my machine and share my screen, or you can try sharing it. I'll give that a shot. We have one that's supposed to be howling systems by Tom Kenny. He sent that in a while back. We haven't used it yet, I believe.
I bet.
It's about 13 minutes long.
That'd be interesting. It's on our website?
It's on the website at the moment. I think I put the actual address of it in the chat a little while back. So we can try to share my screen. We'll see if my internet is powerful enough to show his content. And
Can you get closer to your mic?
Pardon me?
You're hard to hear. Can you get closer to your mic?
Oh, well, let's see if that works. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, better.
Here we go.
better,
We're a little
thanks.
closer to the mic. Let me see if I can share my screen, and that's going to be just terrible. If you're seeing me in 13 pieces here. Let's see if we can bring that up. I'm not a. Where did I put it? There it is. So let's. Oh, what do I have to do? I have to go to here and then say something about using this screen. Yeah, never going to do that right.
Nope, you have to have it open.
There we go. Is anybody seeing my screen at the moment?
No, sir.
I'm seeing you.
Sure, just staring at me. Well, that's a pathetic thing to say.
You have to pick it all and then back out and go to reshare it, because then it's itemized to be shared.
What was that again?
You have to go into it, click what you want to share. It brings it up on your computer, but then you go stop share, go back into share and highlight it, and then it'll bring it up on your computer because it's set up to share.
There we go.
Here we go.
There it is. Yep. There we are.
Okay, let's see if we can start that now. For some reason, it's not showing up on my screen now. Oh, I see. I have to.
Yeah, we can see it all.
Try to push the play button again.
There it is. News share.
Introduction to Hollowing Systems by Tom Kenny.
Yeah, but it's not showing on my screen, so I don't know how to start it.
Okay.
Oh, when you click share, it should have brought it up on your screen as well. So you could click the.
Well, that would have been nice.
Or maybe try it again.
I will stop the share again
and then reshare it, because it should bring you up to the screen you're sharing so you can.
Okay.
There it is. Yep.
Bring it up, and there we go. This time it's going to work.
Good old technology.
If you didn't click share sound, it won't have the sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to have your sound on for it to share the video through your computer.
Let's see if we can stop
Dave, folks, that is available on our website. Looking at the clock, we're going to be wrapping up in just a moment. So you're going to get this and a lot more. World's greatest website for wood turning is available for you. Just, I got to stop this.
Yeah.
All you have to do is check us out, worldwidewoodturners.org. Dave puts that together for us, and he does an awesome job. This is the world's finest wood turning website, bottom line. And we had
Thanks,
a question
Dave.
about
Thanks,
okay.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy. He really works for us. We have something that nobody else has, right? Okay. We had a question. What happened to our safety guy? I haven't heard from Jeff in about a month. Don't know if work or life got in the way. We're still interested in the safety program, If you'd like to handle our safety program, we're looking for 2 or 3 minutes about the do's and the don'ts. Number one, don't get hurt because Brenda's got to send you a Band-Aid. The do's and the don'ts of wood turning. If you'd like to work with us to develop a safety program, let us know. Contact us at worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com or through our contact list on worldwidewoodturners.org. We're not a .com, we're a .org. We're an organization.
Has anybody heard from John Brown lately?
No, I have not heard from Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown was one of our founding members and rather older gentleman with a lot of talent.
Yes.
I love him. Okay, with that, folks, we're going to pull the plug. We do it each week at about 9 o'clock. And if you have enjoyed our program, thank you. If you've got something to add, take away, report, whatever, remember, I keep saying it, it's your wood turning club. Please get involved. Join us. We grow when you grow. I'm Captain Eddie Castellano on behalf of worldwidewoodturners.org. Good night, Jim Bob.
Save the chat.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you next week, right here.
Good night, everyone.
Right here.
Right
Same
here.
time
Good night,
next
Grandma.
week.